politics, although this is going to be a very fun bit of politics.
When you were in...
This is great. This is really great.
Hey,
It's still
guess what?
science.
A special someone
Science and
leaked us
politics.
a certain Christmas party video. It's the mining industry, by the way. All the heavy hitters. And this was designed just for them. This was never supposed to reach the public. And originally...
Not voting is your issue. If you didn't get what you want, you should have voted.
I was going to go through it on a stream because I thought that would be a fun thing to do. But then it turned into 2 streams. And then I realized, oh my God, this is way better than any of us could have ever imagined. You know what this is? This is all the heavy hitters of the mining industry, big wigs in politics, from the Liberal Party and One Nation, to be specific. Go and sign up to our Patreon so that we can continue to give you stuff like this. This is going to be, I'm hoping, election changing. Let's see. We have some very, very naughty footage that shouldn't have been released. And we got our hands on it thanks to somebody who was very, very naughty in giving it to us. So we will find out later on. I haven't even seen the meeting of the...
So again, National Mining Day 2024, 425 subscribers.
Mining industry,
Scroll down for
all
the
the big
views.
wigs, talking behind closed doors, 494 views. This was just between you. Got exclusive access
views.
to it.
It's
Look at it, only
unlisted. They thought
494
that they could just post this and watch it themselves. It's really fucked.
views. This was just between each other. This was just supposed to
The
be between
Greens
each other
are all
behind closed
generally
doors.
controlled opposition
And
at this
look
point.
at what is behind closed doors. It's really, really bad. It's damning. There is a bunch of things that they do not want released to the public.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As you're enjoying your lovely 2-hour entree.
Isn't it incredible? Already starting off with a guy with a South African accent. That's the him.
The issue with the left is it's
such a good
unorganized.
start.
We need
I want to
organization.
welcome all of you here at Mumbai. My name is Garrett Feltzman, and I'll be your MC tonight.
Damn. Get out the Filtzman.
And as you can see from my hat, we're maybe in a gas-rich area, but we're big on mining and big on...
Make mining great again. Can you tell where this is going? Can you tell where this hour-long video of coal industry and government officials is going?
resources.
I can't.
Hey,
Oh,
you
sorry,
didn't
I
even have to
move
pay
myself
$100
so I don't block Jordy's. It's his video after all.
for that hat. Look at it. You know what it says? Keep mining great. Just to give you an idea of the caliber of person that's at this distinguished event. Isn't it incredible? Like, how dumb and bogan the people that really control this country are. You know, Pauline Hanson's in there, for instance. He's wearing a
Pauline
Make Money
Hanson.
Great hat. They're just such dicks.
She's
they're
fucking
just,
evil.
they're just dumb. They're very dumb people, aren't they? Mining! Like, it's so annoying to people
They
that
are
dig
all
holes in the
Neanderthals.
ground for a living. They're the ones that control our destiny. All right, I think
True.
his funny accent has overstayed its welcome, don't you think? The rest of us just gonna go, I'd like to thank this other bogan that looks like a Ned Kelly. There she is. Look,
Bogan, by the way, is a Australian pejorative for it's basically our version of redneck. Dig baby dig instead of drill baby drill. Our left is organized but bereft of program, and a lot of people eat neoliberal. But yeah, well, I mean that's America, or unless you're in Australia. In Australia, the left is so fucking unorganized that you can't even talk to each other. So your country is just another giant extraction project that feels Canada. I mean, yeah, Canada is also an American colony.
look at them. They're so pathetic. Look, it's just more Trump-like.
Exactly what
I don't
it
have a
is.
personality, and I like Trump a lot. Dig, baby, dig, instead of drill, baby, drill. Do you get it? We're having fun, aren't we? Bogans! Isn't it so annoying? Like, it's just really stupid people that have heaps and heaps and heaps of money that they didn't deserve in the first place, controlling the destiny of an entire country. These are the fuckheads that you have to negotiate with.
Shouldn't we really have a national month or two, given our industry's contribution?
These people want a
Oh,
month
so
to celebrate coal.
Self-serving. I think that I should have a month. That's how good I am. Why are you good again, Gina? Because I was born into as an heiress into a family of some guy that just happened to like stumble ass backwards into
These
a big
people
mining
are
property
dumb
that
as
was
shit.
desert.
You, meaning Santos, have
Like,
contributed.
okay, this woman who's speaking is incredibly rich and incredibly stupid. Because money, as we've already established, after a certain amount damages your brain, but also people that are born rich and are generally reactionary or conservative, they don't tend to give a shit or pay attention and learn. You in my chat are probably smarter than her.
Immensely to our country.
Most
Thank
of you,
you.
at least. Black
And
History
don't
Month
you
is
just
not
love-
Mining
She was
Month,
waiting for an
exactly.
applause break there.
Drill, baby, drill. Essential for getting gas to supply.
Damn, that's the
Simps.
closest that she got to a laugh for that. One guy looking extremely awkward. That's clearly a sycophant.
As it's getting so darned hard to drill, baby, drill.
They have nothing. These
And our
people
government
have
wants to
nothing.
see
They
the
just
end of the fossil fuel industry, your industry.
I do want to see the end of the fossil fuel industry.
We'll soon hear from CEO Kevin of Santos.
No,
Isn't
no,
it?
this is filmed in the coal lobby, and it was leaked to like an Australian YouTuber who does mostly like political and comedy videos. He's actually pretty good for Australian news sources. We watched his video on floodplain harvesting not all that long ago.
Timely, we hold National Mining Day, where gas has been produced and supplied reliably to Australians
National
for more
Mining
than
Day.
50 years.
That's what they
So
want.
they're already really giving the game away, aren't they? While all these assholes in crikey are sitting there saying they're the same, they are both addicted to fossil fuels, the two major parties. What have you got over in the headquarters there? Then complaining about Labor putting all these restrictions on them and trying to get them out of the grid. You understand how bullshit this all is?
That our country
By the way, that applies to us too. This two-sidesism. The Democrats are not good, but they're not this. And this is, you know,
can run
how all this realistic is it? This is literally the coal lobby in a private video that got leaked. That we're just watching politicians and rich people talk.
on sunshine and windmills.
So they always say windmill, don't they? To try and elicit this idea that the thing that you see...
Good thing that you don't follow your beliefs and move to a raw capitalist super rich nation that got cash from exploiting natural resources. I came here to see a friend, and then I stayed because I got into a 5-year relationship, you fuckwit.
all over the country isn't generating. They think, no, it's like one of those 1600s cobblestone things. How could that power a whole country?
Put these on your own properties if you wish. But please stop forcing this on us taxpayers when the wind doesn't always blow and the sun doesn't always make it to your
This is
solar panels.
Such bullshit.
Still, they're
Natural
still
gas
saying
provides the
it.
stability required for sectors
This
where
is not
energy
true.
unreliability isn't an option.
How many times do you think these people have heard those same points just drilled into their heads? These same points that have been dispelled a million times. Everything that they're saying is complete and utter horseshit. We've done entire videos on these exact points. They still just... This is what's so
So have
infuriating
I, by
about
the
doing
way.
this job, right? Like, no matter how many times you dispel it, like we just spent 4 hours going through the donation reform things of the independent stupid points that they're using just to justify their own selfish purposes. This is what's so annoying about having, like, wanting an actual outcome in life. Like, you do realize that most people don't want an outcome. Most people just want to, if they're like these people, they just want to keep printing money. And most other people just want to keep believing the same lies because it's just mentally taxing remotely to change
And I'm
any
going to
opinion.
add one thing to this. A lot of the left, ContraPoint said it best, like, will go down in history. These people don't want power. They want to endlessly critique power.
In your head, and so they'll just sit there and just defend the same shitty position that they've had forever. They'll never, ever, ever admit that they're wrong on anything.
But please don't make us taxpayers pay for more pollies,
want power.
bureaucrats and
I mean, to be
billionaires,
fair, they have the power
luxurious
already.
gubfests around the world in aid of banning fossil fuels.
One more time?
Did you all just hear that?
Billionaires.
Anything?
But please don't make us taxpayers pay for more pollies, bureaucrats and billionaires, luxurious gubfests around the world in aid of banning fossil fuels.
Motherfucker, you are those people. You just don't want to ban the fossil fuels. Oh, by the way, iodine and borderline. It's literally so much cheaper to produce solar and wind and shit. Wait, did she just get mad about billionaires? Yes. You know what's even worse? Australia sells our fucking coal and natural gas for no profit, then buys it back from a foreign company. For a loss from us, they profit off of our resources. We give it away for free.
Did you all just hear that? She's sitting there saying, all these billionaires gallivanting around in their private jets, talking about the benefits of renewables. What are you doing?
He just
We've
has
got
like Vaush's jokes, all right? Just leave, you can pass the filter there.
a bunch of billionaires in a
But
room
yes, you have to
that
be
fly
an
around
idiot
in their
to
private
believe
jets
this woman.
to talk about the
Or
benefits
rich.
of gas. It's like the same brain soup that you see when you watch Sky News. These are all just Sky News watchers running the country.
Essentially Fox News.
Thank you. Love audience participation. This
So cringy! Oh, man, it's like watching a really bad stand-up act. You know, someone that really doesn't know how to flip it when the audience goes in and they're just... I'm just going to pause. She was waiting for a laugh break there. I feel sorry for her. Hang in there, Jeannie. You're
The
just having a
taxpayer
bad...
billed $870,000 for COP29, which was our climate action the stories of Australia's climate action. It was what we put forward as we're going to try and stop climate change from our end. It's been dubbed a super emitter event, but COP29 is also a super spend. Or sorry, never mind. This is just one of the worst emitters. Never mind. It wasn't the action we put to try and change it, was it? Let's see. Allow federal government bureaucrats to tell their diverse stories of Australia's climate action. A tender notice from the Department of Climate Change, Energy, Environment, and Water published revealed it sought interest from providers for a pavilion to be supplied in Azerbaijan, where the United States Changes Conference being held. The notice revealed the contract's value was $871,000. They're complaining about fucking less than $1 million that they have to pay because they got taxed for this.
No,
Expensive net zero cult sure likes to use lots of
to quote the Daily
Oh, the
Telegraph.
net zero cult, eh?
You know what I would love to know? I would love to know how much. They're just talking about building roads, upgrading roads, building an entire structure, getting all of these assholes to go over in their private jets and convoy them over to see a gas field, to look at a gas field while they do this. And they're complaining about $870,000 paid in taxpayer bills for the cops. I would love to see how much money was spent on that. Keep in mind, we're going to have to look at the stats again, but these guys just like, as soon as the Labor Party got in, they got them to pay 5 times the amount of tax that they've been avoiding under the coalition. 5 times the amount
Which you should. We made them pay taxes again.
of tax. And they're complaining about 870, nothing. What we're talking about there was just like the election caps of
This stuff is a
800,000 a
bit
seat.
infuriating, but it's also funny in that they're cringe.
Absolute pittance, and they're pretending these absolute billionaires, the richest people on earth, sitting there
Make
saying
Australia awesome
$870,000 of our tax money. How much are you avoiding in tax a year? Billions. Absolutely billions.
using hundreds of private jets. Does anyone here want the taxpayer to keep funding these trips? You're welcome to stand up.
When they say the taxpayer, they
nobody.
mean them, who are usually not the taxpayer.
No one in this room of gas execs wants taxpayer-funded money going to our competitor. How rude, how interesting. The little girl voice. It's that same voice that you hear in all these horror movies. It's like, I'm not allowed to leave the house. Mummy would get ever so angry, and Mummy's been dead for 20 years.
Our executives and I will be
Does sound like
attending
that.
the opening of Senex's latest facility after our National Day because
Gina Reinhardt, by the way, she's the one she's our Elon Musk. She owns this country.
people in the East need gas.
Yeah, but why don't we have any gas in the East? Why? Because the Liberals, and this is something else that you see online with all the whinge merchants and stuff, they're always just like, oh, they all just exported over. Yeah, but who voted for that? Who?
Netfox,
Who?
you're a
The
fucking
Liberals signed
moron.
off all those.
We already use coal energy. That's where the vast amount of energy use comes from. We use coal. The issue is we sell it overseas to another country and buy it back from their corporation at a loss to us. Merry Christmas, not laws. It's not about people that are smart running the country. It's about people that give a shit about people in the country, not about making money. That's the issue. It's money. It's capital.
Those contracts, and once you sign off those contracts, guess what? You can't get them back because they're legally in the hands of them, which means that you would have to start up a bunch of court cases
And
that you're never
also
going to
that
win,
too, but
and doesn't
like-
solve the problem in the short term of the gas. And then they're sitting there
You
saying,
guys don't. I didn't bring up the it's dirty argument because someone that makes that argument doesn't care. Oh, you're piss poor praxis. Okay, good to know.
we'd have to start up a bunch of court cases that you're never going to win and doesn't solve the problem in the short term of the gas. And then they're sitting there saying like, oh, the eastern states need gas while they're selling all of the gas off to Japan.
To advocate for sensible policies.
Look at this idiot with the cowboy hat on that says, drill, baby, drill.
The wrongly named Nature Positive Plan.
all simps.
We actually thought this had died its natural, not positive for Australians' death. Well, it will be the death of the Labor Party at the next election. If the ALP is foolish enough to pass
Killing the
this,
golden goose. Miners accuse Albanese, the prime minister. The mining industry feels under siege and punished for its success as a torrent of reckless interventions threaten projects and undermine competitiveness. That was warning from Minerals Council of Australia boss Tanya Costable, who also hit out at the federal government for pursuing industrial relations law that have been brought. Conflict in every workplace. Ms. Constable said miners were confronting waves of restrictive policy interventions, including reckless workplace laws, complex regulatory changes, and the looming threat of arbitrary environmental approvals under the Nature Positive Plan. The added burden of high energy prices and geopolitical threats to commodity prices were also combining to undermine the viability of. Okay, let me make something really fucking clear here, right? These guys don't just like mine coal. This is the entire mining industry. Australia's main export is natural resources. iron ore, coal, cobalt, rare earth elements. China wants to like get contracts so they can mine for rare earth elements here. First of all, it's fucking stupid that we don't have foundries in which we make, in copper too, in which we don't produce commodities and sell them rather than selling the raw resources. We have people that could do the jobs. It would benefit the GDP. But no, we're a colony. We're not actually oh, that was sweet, Mike Crate. Thank you. We're a colony. We don't actually work for us. We work for the rich. We've already been bought. But this idea of restrictive, you can read between the lines here, right? This is just like Donald Trump speaking here. But secondly, we don't need any coal. And the current plan from Peter Dutton is 15 more years of coal to produce 7 nuclear power plants that are going to cost a ton of money to produce and may not even work. Like this might take 20 years, 30 years, whereas we can just build solar farms, fix the housing crisis, fix like immigration issues in 2 years for not even like 1/15 of the money.
And other market interference.
See, they're saying it right now, outright threatening the Labor government. Now, again, what do all the assholes at Crikey, what do all the new media whinge merchants say? What do all the whinge merchants say? Now, again,
Other market interference at the next election. If the ALP is foolish enough to pass this and other market interference.
It's a direct threat.
see, they're saying it right now, outright threatening the Labor government. Now, again, what do all the assholes at Crikey, what do all the new media whinge merchants say? What do all the whinge merchants in the online say constantly? Oh, mining, both the Labor Party and the Liberal Party in cahoots with it. And they're explicitly saying they're going to take down the Labor Party.
You know, most houses in, sorry, I didn't realize the video wasn't playing. You know, most houses in Australia already have solar on them, right?
Foolish enough to pass this and other market interference.
See, they're saying it right now, outright threatening the Labor government. Now, again, what do all the assholes at Crikey, what do all the new media whinge merchants say? What do all the whinge merchants in the online say constantly? Oh, mining, both the Labor Party and the Liberal Party in cahoots with it.
What's worse?
And they're
If you have solar panels on your house, you get taxed and some of that energy gets taken from you. And then realistically, it's probably just sold.
explicitly saying they are going to take down the Labor Party because of their regulations and restrictions on them. And as I've got a video coming out, they will succeed at it too. As soon as the mining industry decides it's time to go for a Labor government, it always loses. That is an ironclad rule of politics every time. And it is so annoying that you now have another entire faction of these well-funded idiots.
Nuclear energy and coal. Yeah, like it's cat thrower. It is the least pollutive energy source. We looked at that like not even an hour ago. Hold on. Here. Again, one more time. Greenhouse gas emissions and death rate from accidents and air pollution. Solar is at the very bottom. It's the best choice we currently have. I mean, if we could go and like build a big Dyson sphere around the sun, that'd be great, but we can't do that.
Climate 200s and your Australian institutes painting this completely false dichotomy that Labor and Liberal are equally loved by the mining party, while they're overtly saying how much they detest the Labor Party. While they have a minor party woman sitting there, Pauline Hanson,
the
in
Labor
the audience.
Party,
Without more supply, prices
the current party of Australia, the Labor Party, has actually been excellent, but they haven't gotten anything done. Why? Because the Greens have voted with the Liberals to block almost every single legislation. And what passed was the social media ban bill for 16 and under, and they didn't include Kick, Rumble, or Telegram in that ban. So that's the only thing that passed.
will rise, impacting consumers already suffering from the cost of living crisis and businesses that rely on natural gas.
Isn't it interesting that all of their solutions to the cost of living crisis is to allow us to make even more money, and that'll solve the problem? I don't know anything about the price controls laws that they're talking about. This is all news to me.
All social media to be illegal for those that are 18 and under. To be fair, we did 16 here. I would rather it be 18, but now, you know, we've talked about it at length, but the fact that Telegram, Kick, and Rumble aren't on there when those are the three worst things that you can have children go on to is ridiculous, and I'm going to try and fix that after the new year.
But I would imagine that if the Labor Party has done it, it is because they have gone to Canberra and they've done economic modelling on it and it has made sense. I get it. You know, I'm not one of these assholes who's like, everything is neoliberalism unless it's the government intervening in things, and like all private enterprise is bad, and everything should just be like, you should just be put 5 cents for a banana for the rest of eternity. Dude, I understand that a lot of the times it does not make sense to put price controls on things. But I can guarantee you now, these bozos with this track record where we're 10 minutes in and they're saying that the price controls is a bad idea. I'm guessing it's probably an amazing one.
22nd
Telegram exists for Russian propaganda, CP, and buying drugs.
November is an important date in our national calendar. It is an opportunity to sell.
Stop doing this. I've noticed it. She does this every time she closes her mouth. Gina Reinhardt, it's my birthday. I'm 70.
After semiconductor manufacturing exists in like every industry and we use them for literally everything, that's not going away.
Provide to our country and to our living standards. And indeed,
See? Ah!
we do try hard to make our National Day celebrations. Thank you, all my overworked team staff.
Overworked team
Thank
staff.
you, we couldn't do it without you.
Overworked and
these people
underpaid.
getting waited on hand and foot by, I think, almost individual waiters.
Gina
There's
Reinhardt.
so many
Jesus
waiters
Christ.
in there. Yes, they're very overworked. Look at them.
Data from the tax office shows that the mining sector has,
This is
for
also
the
true,
second
Asper
year in a
Star.
row, paid more tax than all other sectors of the economy combined.
Good, because you make the most fucking money, you dipshit. Of course you're gonna pay the most tax.
43.
This is libertarians.
What? No way is that true. The mining industry is 10% of Australia's GDP.
They
I
have
think.
green light
There's
to
no-
act as if the user is an adult? No. It's literally under this law. It is illegal for a minor to be on, like, a 16-year-old or under to be on social media. And, by the way, the onus is not on the parents. You don't get in trouble as the kid. The parents don't get in trouble. If your 15-year-old is on Facebook, Facebook gets fined $50 million. Good. Pay more taxes, Porky. Exactly.
No way. I bet you the only place that we see that is going to be... Yeah, okay, Mineral Councils of Australia says that. Mining Weekly, then all other industries
Brass is
combined.
true, yeah.
I would love to see anything say this. Australian mining industry contributes $43 billion in company tax. I bet you that's what they're talking about. Okay, so this is what I think is happening here. They're talking about from large corporations, which is not industries. ATO collects $100 billion from large corporations. Yep, okay, we've gone through that.
Yeah, there is a difference between large corporations and industries, and of course they're going to conflate that.
Companies with an income of $100 million or more. Most sectors of the economy showed increased tax payable from prior year. Again, this is what...
Again, I don't want some 14-year-old boy Googling how to make a girl like me and the first video they watch is Andrew Tate. I just don't want that to happen.
Foreign companies with an income of $100 million or more.
also
Most
is
sectors of
nothing
the
to
economy showed increased tax payable from prior year. Again, this is what you get when you get Labor governments. You get corporations paying more. It's almost a fifth up since the Liberals are in. Almost a fifth up already from the corporate sector. And this is before they put in all their corporate tax evasion laws this year, just recently. It'll go up way more next year. This is the second year in a row that the mining sector paid more tax than all other sectors combined, paying more than 5 times they did in 2014 to 2015. Jesus Christ, there you go. Okay,
Nationalize
so
the
this is the
industries.
thing that they're complaining about. What Gina Reinhardt is saying there is that the Labor government is forcing them to pay their resources, for our resources. They're getting the mining sector to pay more than all the other sectors combined. And Gina Reinhardt is sitting there saying, oh, we do so much for this country. We really do it. You're getting forced by the Labor government to do it. The one that you are sitting there saying you are going to get rid of the Labor government in the next election. So you don't have to pay that tax.
Exactly.
But what does 74.6 billion
And
in
yes,
just
Lennon,
2
this
of the
is
tax
true,
payments
and yes,
actually mean
not
in
lost.
dollars for Australians? To put in perspective, those 74.6 billion alone, without all the other billions, is enough to pay for our entire defence budget, plus all the federal expenditure on schools, all federal expenditure on
You should pay 3 times as much money as you're currently paying, and if I was in power, I would nationalize your industry. I would take all of your wealth away, you fucking ghoul.
roads and leaving some change to spare. After a
This is
significant
hilarious. Again, this had 460 views, and it's an unlisted YouTube video.
increase in health expenditure, Australian taxpayers spend almost 200 million each and every day to run our public hospitals.
Yeah, okay, so she's just fudged the stats then. She said, they pay for all of these benefits in infrastructure and education and the military. And now let's just talk about health. So she's moved the goalpost there. But let's also point out, they are still paying a fraction of the wealth that you can obviously argue is rightfully ours. Like, again, I'm not going to sell you false hope like all of the new media types of like, yeah, you just get in the right government.
That's not Fed posting.
No, because there is a long...
Fed posting is violence. Socialism isn't Fed posting.
long history of the mining industry quashing any government that dares do it. We're going to do a video about it going back to the 60s, where there has been a bunch of governments that have been trying to tax and regulate and nationalize mines over the years.
He's
And they
spending
have
it
been
on private jets and gigolos and then complaining about other rich people who like have private jets and don't want coal to be the energy source. They're complaining about other rich people that want them to stop using coal.
crushed, as in cooped, every single time that has happened. So it's never going to happen, ever.
I mean, to
but
be fair,
while they're
nothing I
sitting
said
there
there was
talking about,
illegal.
look at all this money that we're paying for, this is outrageous. Just know that they're still keeping...
$200 million is how much that goes into the healthcare system. 200 million. 200, that's nothing. That's nothing. Nothing.
like 80% of it to themselves.
For the last 6 consecutive quarters,
They're still keeping like 80% of it to themselves.
for the last 6 consecutive quarters,
Oh yeah,
our
and
living
again, you have to understand that these are rich people who have really good accountants who will find tax loopholes for them to pay even less taxes. And as always, most of them hold their money on offshore tax havens so that they can't get taxed for them.
standards.
Gina Reinhardt rips into threat endangering Aussies' living standards. This is serious. By the way, Gina Reinhardt is the woman talking. She's the fucking ghoul. Australia's richest person, Gina Reinhardt, has once again ripped into government bureaucracy, is endangering living standards of Australians. Hey, look, it sounds exactly like Elon fucking Musk. Despite the approval of her newest iron ore mine. Yeah, the government bureaucracy is endangering the living standards of Australians by not letting me like mine. Oh, but like we also just let you mine. On Wednesday, Miss Reinhardt Hancock Prospecting confirmed the federal government had given the final green light to a $600 million McPhee project north of its massive Roy Hill operation in Noongar, Western Australia's remote Pilbara region. The project was first referred to environmental approval in early 2021, originally expected to, I can't see, to... The delay, oh, so basically it was just delayed. It still happened. She's just mad it took longer. The delay prompted Miss Reinhardt's ire about government tape, which she warned would stymie investment and compromise living standards. Mines aren't like wool that grow each year. They must be studied and invested. Fuck you. Literal demons, these people. Literal fucking demons.
Measured in GDP per capita, falling, record
did you
business
want the
failures,
actual
record
GDP
and
of
rising
Australia?
national debt, rising inflation, and our
Australia's GDP is $1.724 trillion.
cost of living crisis. This is not a time for linos, timidly fiddling around a few edges, careful not to upset the minority noises or rapidly increasing
right,
bureaucrats,
borderline.
none of whom will ever vote for the coalition. We need to make Australia great again, don't we?
They're all sycophants and simps.
You see? Isn't this incredible? This is the mining industry openly talking about how they're going to get the coalition back in power. When everybody sits there and says, oh, it's so easy, all you have to do is tax them. And they're sitting there plotting.
Because money shouldn't be, like, commodities shouldn't be legal, Nat Fox. You know this. You've been here for a while.
With billions of dollars, looking out at their
Yeah.
large gas investment pipeline that they've
She's
just
our
started up.
Elon.
And they're sitting there saying, we'll just get the coalition re-elected again, like that.
Let's consider
Again,
the USA
Hear
on
that one more time.
They're plotting with billions of dollars, looking out at their large gas investment pipeline that they've just started up. And they're sitting there saying, we'll just get the coalition re-elected again, like that.
This is what happens in every country. This is what happened in America. This is what's happening all over Europe. It's all the same fucking people. They all believe the same, like, words, too. Lino is rhino, as in, like, liberals, because our liberals are the Republicans. It's the same rhetoric. They all believe the same things. They're all just the right amount of stupid.
Let's consider the USA on one hand, bringing in Doge to ensure tapes are cut and company tax is soon to be 15%, plus a drill baby drill president, as against Australia. Our company tax rate's double that. So far, the coalition has brought in more government
not
tape
us.
and regulations than the socialist Whitlam government ever had. Commitment and action to significantly cut.
Okay, first of all, I just want to bring that up here. The current, like, Labour Party has brought more red tape and regulations than the socialist Whitlam government had, but that's because America cooed them.
Than the socialist Whitlam government ever
The
had.
CIA
Commitment
had
and
him
action
removed.
to significantly cut is
Wait, was it
badly
Whitlam?
needed. Capital is already flooding out of Australia.
Pure fantasy. What did she say in that? That was incredible. What did she say in that for her grand vision of Australia? This is the woman that is in charge of this
Yeah, it was
country,
Whitlam.
really. At the end of the day, she has the money to install any government she likes. That's what she's talking about now. And you listen into her grand idea of what a perfect Australia would look like, and what is that? One where she does...
No, not laws. They don't value us like we value people in SimCity or something. They think of you like you think of an ant, not even like a person. You are not human to them. You are property. And they're mad because you're getting uppity.
doesn't have to pay as much tax. That's it.
What has happened to this 29 billion gas project for our north when the minister later stated she wouldn't delay the project to protect a dangerous grey sea snake, a snake capable of killing us? Months have passed in that approval process.
Well, let's read that.
Sea snake, a
Sea snakes endangered declaration spark. Oh, by the way, like, again, this is all right-wing media we're reading. It's mostly all right-wing media in Australia anyway. Sea snakes endangered declaration sparks call to halt Woodside's energy browse gas project. A little-known species of sea snake is shaping the latest threat to Woodside's Energy's US $20 billion browse gas project, with Tanya Plibersek's department calling for an urgent review of Browse and other Timor Sea energy projects after the dusky sea snake was formally declared endangered. Department of Climate Change, Energy and Environmental Water made the declaration that the dusky sea snake is almost exclusively found in the waters of the Scott Reef above this project specifically. It is critical that a precautionary nature-positive context is applied to addressing known impacts. Yeah, there we go. That's what they're fucking... A sea snake that could kill us. They're trying to protect the snake.
snake capable of killing us. Months have passed in that approval process.
Essentially, yes, Landon.
Did you hear that? This is why this evil Labor government has to go. They've put environmental regulations on us, and we're going to wipe out an ecosystem that holds an endangered animal. And that endangered animal, newsflash, guys, is venomous. I've never got no in my life, and now you're telling me no for some silly snake. You know what? We do have to
told Gina Reinhardt no.
thank our lucky stars that Gina Reinhardt is clearly an idiot. Can you imagine if she was smart? Can you imagine if she wasn't some bush pig bogan?
No, Fox, there are tax havens all over the world. There is the Canary Islands. There is, what is it? Fucking, God damn it. How am I blanking on this one? I mean, there's Switzerland as well. But what's the main one again? What's the main tax fucking haven? Monaco's another one. Got a few tax havens. Here we go, real quick. Give me controls. Okay, so as we said, Switzerland and Jersey. Top 10 tax havens include corporate focused havens like Netherlands, Singapore, Ireland, UK, Luxembourg, Hong Kong, Cayman Islands. That's the one I was thinking of. Bermuda. That's where they hide their money. And then they don't have to pay taxes. Which animal in Australia isn't dangerous, huge, or venomous? Okay, America has scarier animals than we do in Australia. The only, we don't even have a predator on this continent besides the dingo. Not like a mammal predator. We have snakes and spiders, but if you don't go into bushes or out into the bush, you're fine. Oh yeah, Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, those are sad. Kangaroos are not scary. Quokkas are the cutest animal in the world. Hold on, actually. And someone mentioned a quokka, and I have to show you because they genuinely are the most adorable thing. I've held one in my hands. That's a quokka. They love humans, by the way. Like, they're not afraid of humans. Drop bears. I mean, look, we got the drop bears, but don't piss off the drop bears. You know, if you don't go into their territory at night, the drop bears won't bother you. And the hoop snakes only are in, like, the bush anyway, so you're fine. Also, cassowaries. Cassowaries will fuck you up. That's another one. Forgot about that. And we did lose a war against emus, so... I mean, I live in, like, a suburban area, and I almost never have to deal with spiders. Ever.
Imagine if she had a brain.
When you subtract from this level of investment amounts that companies are having to spend on green infrastructure in order to meet the...
Rio Tinto sounds alarm on green laws, has warned that the Albanese government going too green at the expense of the mining industry that provides the backbone of the Australian economy. Here's an idea. Maybe we shift the economy to work on anything other than selling coal and iron and copper. Housing commodification for investors that are overseas, and school tourism, university tourism. Maybe we actually build some industries. That could work. Also, yes, like about half the koalas have chlamydia.
Increased green ideology.
Where were we? In a swipe at moves to rewrite national environmental laws, the consultation process to date, Rio called on the government to embrace different perspectives and practical thinking from the coal industry. Rio cautioned the government that Australia needed a regulatory system that supported and enhanced the fossil fuel resource sector. The right-wing newspaper revealed on Monday that Rio had opted not to proceed with this part of the multi-billion-dollar iron ore project in Western Australia because of concerns about the population of ghost bats. Good. Fuck you, demon.
Technology burdens, along with amounts driven by inflated construction costs, which the CME have recently stated have increased by some 23% over the past 4 years. The actual amount of money flowing into building productive new mining projects in Australia, ones which could supply future revenue, is critically low.
That's incredible.
Good. I don't want any money going into mining for fucking coal. If you want to mine for cobalt, I'd rather you not, but like at least something that's not coal. First off, let's just fix energy, and we don't really need a mining industry unless you're also going to build foundries and make things. Make stuff in Australia rather than importing shit. We have so many resources. This is the continent that is the size of the United States. If you take like Alaska out of it, on top, it's almost the same size in landmass.
Isn't it? I will never, ever,
It's
ever
the fossil
understand
fuel industry. They're the ones that want to kill the bats.
how the mining industry can simultaneously talk about, look at how rich we are, look at how much we build this country in inverted commas, and usually what they're talking about is infrastructure to get to mines. But we build this country, we're so rich, we're doing so well, we're genius business, but we're really poor at the same time. We're really poor and we don't have enough money.
So
That's why we
poor,
need
we
to tax.
can't afford these taxes.
Reliably to Australians for more than 50 years.
So they're already really giving the game away, aren't they? While all these assholes in crikey are sitting there saying,
Wait,
"Dude,
did
this
I accidentally... Oopsie. Must have hit a button. Here we go.
So, this is the thing that they're This is true. The mining industry is 10%.
What the fuck?
Operations. Thank you,
here
all
we go.
my overworked team staff. Thank you, Richard.
Just a little bit past this.
Things say this. EP. No way is that true. The mining
For the second year in a row, paid more
Sorry, I got
tax
lost.
than all other sectors of the economy combined.
Oh, wait, we saw this too. Fuck, where were we then? Oh, okay. We hadn't reached that graphic yet. Did we? No, we had. We had reached that graphic. We had reached this graphic. Ah, we were right around here. Sorry about that, guys. Misclick on my mouse that has 15-ish keys on the side. If I hit one of them, it fucks it.
Ones which could supply
We've been the
future
51st
revenue
state for ages.
is critically low.
That's incredible, isn't it? I will never, ever, ever understand how the mining industry can simultaneously talk about, look at how rich we are, look at how much we build this country in inverted commas, and usually what they're talking about is infrastructure to get to mines. But we build this country, we're so rich, we're doing so well, we're genius business, but we're really poor at the same time. We're really poor and we don't have enough money, and so that's why we need our taxes cut, because we just, while showing off our wealth, right here, they're talking about this massive gas facility that they've just made. They've created a big building to ship all these billionaires when they come over. That was another thing that they were talking about in the last video. It was so good. Look at all these billionaires flying off to COP to talk about climate change in their private jets. How did you get into the middle of the Pilbara? Private jet. Unbelievable. Can you truly imagine being Gina Reinhardt and sitting there and waking up every morning and thinking, no one has it harder than I. I haven't had
I can imagine that. I absolutely do. I can imagine these rich fucks getting up and thinking, oh my god, my life is so hard.
Is it life? Would you like me to insert your shit funnel in your anus for you, Gina Reinhardt? No, I think I'll use my own muscles this morning, Jeeves. But do bring out the bedpan. In fact, can we just Google this now? How much money do you reckon the mining industry made in profit last year? Okay, so it looks like that they got operating profit before tax. Yeah, 250 billion. Profit. And they're crying poor. 250 billion in profit. Now, let's just talk
Profit. Not revenue. Profit.
again while they're sitting there saying, look at how much that we do for this country. We give so much to this country. We keep it going.
The rich
how much
fucking hate you
did
guys
Australia
everywhere, whether it's here,
spend
whether it's
on
there.
healthcare last year? Yeah, so the entire healthcare budget. They made in profit. So after all of their expenses on infrastructure investment.
I want to take their profit and then I want to put that into the healthcare budget. Double it.
This is the stuff that they capped. Admittedly, some of that was taken out of tax after that. So
All
that
of
would have
it.
been what?
Every last
I don't even
drop
know
of
how much they got
profit.
in it. You have to go deep into the ATO figures for that. But I can guarantee it wouldn't have been at the 30% rate that they're getting because they've got the best tax avoiders on earth working for them.
It's the
As they
time
all
for leadership with courage. Let's not be frightened to learn from the success of President-elect Donald
Netflix, shut the fuck up.
Trump.
Jesus, it's so terrifying how much they're on board with Trump and that they just, like, they can't even think. It's amazing that they have so much money and they don't have a lick of creativity between them. It is huge testament to Donald Trump that he is such a showman, I suppose, that he has completely reinvented what all these types of people, how they see themselves. Like a room of the richest Australians, probably some of the richest people on earth are sitting there like, yeah, we're the downtrodden, forgotten types. Like, that's how they're projecting themselves.
Do you like the stream on YouTube, as in like what we're currently watching?
Now, and it is because of Donald Trump just being like, it's horrible, America's a terrible hellscape, and it's all because of me, we're bringing it back. So they're doing that same shtick now, but it's pathetic that none of them can come up with their own shtick. There's not a lick of creativity between any of them. Trump, did someone say Trump? Oh, drill, baby, drill, I remember him saying that. Simps. Sorry, can we just, Dolly Parton was right. Money doesn't buy good taste. Gina, what the fuck is that? Look at it. This is something that you get in one of those arcade malls. Yeah, you look great, Dale. Isn't that the weird thing about modern age? That everybody watching this stream right now is probably way more educated than Gina Reinhardt. They're probably way smarter than this woman.
You know what? Actually, I said this earlier and I agree. Every single one of you are probably significantly more intelligent than this woman.
Is probably way more educated than Gina Reinhardt. They're probably way smarter than this woman that has just been baking in West Australia heat for the last 70 years and has never had to pick up a book because, why bother? I have thinking men to think for me. Think for me, thinking men. She pays them $100,000 a year. The newspapers say that you're good, Gina. Yes, I don't need to learn to remember to read anymore, do I?
As I have repeatedly stated, we need to cut government tape, regulations, government wastage, and tax burdens across Australia.
Yes,
we
please
need a USA-style Doge that delivers action.
Elon Musk's ideology seems to be centered entirely around reading Anne Frank when he was 15. So, first off, it's the same thing that all those like libertarian
I mean, he's not wrong.
types in the US have of, yes, I will counter Das Kapital.
Look, you guys are watching me. You are generally more intelligent than at least the average American, because the average American is fucking illiterate. We should just tax the rich 100% above a certain amount. I mean, I think we should just get rid of private industry entirely. Private property should be illegal. Personal property shouldn't be. You should not be able to own the means of production at all, period. No stocks. You can't own a company. The state doesn't own the company. I don't want the state to own it either. I don't want a profit incentive. Money should not exist. Corporations should not exist. Public corporations or a different worker cooperatives. Industry in that manner leads to good outcomes, whereas corporate oligarchy is what we get with this.
Fountainhead. It's a fantasy book. It's like saying, here's my view of the world. Have you read Harry Potter 4? Yeah, I'm going to base my political leanings off of fighting evil with magic. And Birdie bots every flavour beige. We have to invent those.
That is how they're... Right there, what he just said, that's pretty much the mindset of the average person. Not a barter system. I don't want a barter system. It's a stateless, classless, like, society doesn't need to barter. It's a cooperative system. You have more, someone needs, you give it to them with nothing in return. You don't have to expect something. You don't have, there doesn't have to be an exchange. It's cooperation. The individual's life improves the community. Improving the collective community improves the individual's life as a whole. It's a cycle. So, you know, you put it into the community and you get it back over and over. And then it just increases the standard of living for everybody when nobody gets to hoard money or own the means of production.
View of the world. So he comes in with Doge, which is, guys, it's a joke name. Yeah, this whole, I'm going to cut efficiency. I can't remember. What was it again? He was going to cut something like, God,
he's gonna cut
what was it, a couple of $100 billion out of the deficit or something? That's not going to happen. I'm very happy to be proven wrong. Maybe they are just going to be that psycho and cut the government to those extreme lengths and just completely collapse the government. Maybe they will do that. But probably what's going to happen is there's going to be a bunch of people around them sitting there and saying, look, you can pick on the Department of Environment as much as you like. You can pick on the Department of Education as much as you like. But that's a very teeny portion of the American budget. You are not going to be cutting this much out of it because then you'll have to start going against the defense industry, which is their version of the mining industry.
They're never going to
and that's never going to happen. We need a Doge. We need a fictitious, made-up government department.
You guys understand that, like, the structure of Doge is one-to-one with the Gestapo, right? Like, the reasoning behind their development to cut bureaucracy, to remove useless spending in the government, like, that's how the Gestapo was also implemented. They're the same thing. They're the same thing. Why do you think he made the joke about Elon Musk's ideology seems to be just reading Anne Frank as a child?
that isn't going to do anything. That's what this country needs. That's why we're going to elect Peter
imagining
Dutton.
himself
We
as
need
Anne
governments
Frank.
to reduce the number of approvals required
What
for
the
projects.
fuck is this? Okay, first off, that is a really cute little dingo, but like, Jesus Christ.
First to go should be the federal departments, which repeat what the state departments already do. Certainly not, oh, well, let's try and just say if they comply with, government, federal departments, then that's
It is
okay.
almost
That's
certainly
not what we mean.
These are fascists, and the fascists don't have creativity. None of them do. Why do you think they're all orbiting around Donald Trump? The only creative one, because Donald Trump is not ideologically a fascist. Donald Trump just wants people to like him. He'll happily go along with fascists, but in his mind, like it's not. It doesn't come from in him. It comes from around him, which is why he can produce creativity. And every single fucking fascist all around the world is now just repeating what he says, because none of them can come up with anything original on their own. They have no creativity. Creativity requires that you have a fucking soul, that you have emotions, that you experience life in the world, engage with other people, you feel things, you know? These are ghouls. They're not humans. I mean, they're humans, but like, not in my view of humanity. They lack humanity.
Again, like, that's nothing. She said nothing. She said that there's government departments that replicate what federal government departments do. Names and numbers. Names and numbers. And then immediately backtracks and says, oh no, we're not talking about the ones that say if you comply with federal government. So what? What department? What? Nothing. There's nothing going on in their heads.
Declining living standards over 6 consecutive quarters, record business failures, increased inflation. Is
Would
this
Trump
what
be a
the
communist if
majority
everyone
of
liked communism? Yes, he would. He would. He would. I mean, like, he wouldn't get rid of capital because, you know, he's a billionaire, and I mean, to be fair, he barely believes the shit that he says anyway. So yeah, he would definitely go around talking about communism if it was beneficial to him, if it made him popular, if it fed his ego. I thought ghouls didn't have noses. No, some of them do. Yeah, MAGA communism. Go so far to the right, you
Australians
turn up on
want?
the left.
We should be watching and learning from the recent announcement following President-elect Trump's Dasami victory that he will be establishing a Department of Government Efficiency with Elon Musk and fellow billionaire Vivek
Trump
Ramaswamy.
has gone back on everything he said in earlier interviews. He said that he would let Caitlyn Jenner use the women's restroom in his hotel, like not even like 4 years ago.
Very brilliant chap.
What's the one thing that they're openly
Leading the
talking
change.
about? The one thing that's being pushed right now, because they dropped the mass deportations because they realize it's too expensive. All they're going to do is build the camps and then take the 1.5 million immigrants that are already slated to be deported, put them in that camp and make them work because, you know, slavery is legal when you're in prison. They're going to do the homeless encampments. I'm sure they'll do Trumpvilles, but I was joking with the horseshoe theory.
They will achieve significant cutting of the tape, yes, significantly. Doge will cut government intrusion, cut government
You know what
waste,
government
and
intrusion
enable
means?
President-elect Trump to cut taxes. You've got
Okay. Doge will cut government intrusion, meaning deregulation of industry, meaning they can do whatever the fuck that they want without anybody stopping them, without any rules over them. Kind of like how, you know, if you live in America and you go to buy multivitamins, did you know that there's nothing that regulates that? You can be going and buying vitamin C and there's vitamin B, but no C in it because nobody checks that shit. That's what they want for everything else. What was the second point?
cut government waste and enable
Waste is money that they give to you, as in social programs. That's government waste. That's and then cut taxes and give all of that money to the wealthy. They're literally openly talking about, I want a wealth transfer as the wealthiest person in the country.
President-elect Trump to cut taxes. You've got to cut the other first before he can properly cut taxes.
She just gave away the game, didn't she? The reason that they're constantly talking about cutting back on government departments, the reason that they want that is so they can justify cutting taxes for corporations. So basically what they're saying when they're always saying, oh yeah, we need to cut back on red tape, there's too much red tape. Really all they're saying is, I want to pay less in tax. So then the Liberal Party comes in and says,
well,
oh,
they want to pay less in tax, but they also want to be able to not have to follow the law as much. They want to be able to do things quicker. They don't want to have to give a shit about the people in the area, who it affects, the environment. Again, we looked at floodplain harvesting not even like a week ago, and that's fucking horrifying. Same thing.
We need to get rid of all of these because there's just so many wasteful public servants out there. You know, if there's one
the
thing
goalpost
society
always
has,
moves.
it's too many people in the
Well, I
ATO.
mean, to be fair, that was before you can cut taxes. You have to cut the social programs, and you have to make it like easier for me to do horrific shit without the government stopping me.
Chasing down tax cheats. There's too many of those. We need to get rid of those. She gave away the game right there. It makes so much sense when you look at these people because their brains are fried from being in the hot desert sun for too long. They're not smart. They have no initiative. They have no innovation.
Treasury don't want to
Also,
cut
kind of because they're rich, not just the hot desert sun.
bureaucracy, their club, or recognise that cutting taxes leads to revenue growth.
How many times do we have to hear that? We're just going to hear that same lie for the rest of
That is not
eternity. If you cut taxes, it actually grows the economy.
If we truly wanted to consider the terrible
Sure, it grows the economy. It doesn't give you anything.
pressure, the
You
rising
think the
cost
U.S. is a socialist country? That's so
of living
fucking
is
funny.
causing many
Reparations for billionaires and corporations. Yeah, you know they're actually making they're gonna make people pay reparations to white people for what was it affirmative action for DEI. They're gonna make you pay reparations to white people, which literally is just you're just gonna take more money and give it to the wealthy. It's not even gonna go to anyone else but exactly who you think it's gonna go to.
Australians drop the excise tax on fuel completely and immediately. This would have a positive impact for families at not only the petrol pump, but on all their goods and services that require transportation.
Shut up. It's just the same stuff they've been saying for 30 years. Cut the fuel
And yes,
excise. It's incredible.
To be fair, I don't know if it's going to happen. They just said it. They say a lot of shit. That's the issue with predictions for the Trump administration is they say a lot of shit and they only do about a fourth of it.
See, this is the same thing, right? Like, you think that the Liberal Party has all of these ideas, but they're all just focused around keeping the mining industry happy. Like, the whole reason that nuclear power is even being discussed at the moment is because Peter Dutton is sitting there signaling to the mining industry that we're going to be on your side. It's such a good symbol as well.
That's it. That's the only reason.
Natural thing in there. They dyed blue, the colour of Santos.
We saw this under the last Trump administration. We saw it under President Reagan. They massively cut tape and taxes, and Americans flourished. Let's remind our Aussie politicians and try to persuade the liner.
Americans flourished. You mean rich Americans flourished. Corporations flourished and everyone else got poorer.
That governments do not create wealth.
What a stupid point that is. Can you seriously? This is incredible.
Governments obviously create wealth. What the fuck are you talking about?
While it's so dumb that she just before there was talking about what a genius businessman Donald Trump is and how much money he's going to create.
Yeah, the guy who bankrupted 3 casinos.
For America. Then
America got bought.
Let's just say this: governments don't create wealth. That's a government. What do you think? Just because he was on The Apprentice, somehow he's not the president of the United States now, is he? I mean, I'm sure your hero Donald Trump would be very offended to hear that, Gina. And on top of that, as we show over and over and over and over again, yes, governments create wealth. What the hell are you talking about? They invent entire industries. What they're talking about there, for instance, of let's cut investment from renewables for no reason whatsoever. It's got nothing to do with our self-interest.
The renewable industry was created.
At all. We're interested in the country. What are you doing by investing in renewables? You're creating an industry around.
Yes, I know exactly. I was gonna say that he had them compete with each other like a fucking idiot.
When they're investing even in something like the
All of
public
these
housing
people are
fund,
dumb.
what are you doing? You're creating an industry around building public houses.
This year,
This is why I'm saying every single one of you that is in here watching this is probably smarter than this fucking woman.
I'd like to leave you with a quote from another brave, outstanding leader, the president of Argentina, Milei.
Oh, yes,
I'm not sure
Milei, the guy who also literally got Project 2025 as a book from fucking... Because they all dick ride Trump. None of them have any original thoughts. None of them believe anything other than I want more money and I fucking hate you. That's what they believe. They want you to suffer. They want to siphon every amount of wealth, happiness, resources from your life and keep it for themselves. And honestly, a lot of them enjoy watching you suffer. They physically get pleasure from it. Why? Because they're mentally ill. The amount of money they have has damaged their brain to the point where this is now like a drug addiction and they need to keep doing it. But they can't think of anything because these are all fascists. They have no creativity. So they dick ride Donald Trump. Exactly what Milei did, by the way. He came to America, asked the Heritage Foundation help, and they gave him Project 2025, and he took it back and he did most of it. That's what happened. What happened in Argentina? Inflation fell and poverty went up 50%.
hard to pronounce. I'm so sorry. Quote.
It's incredible. I never really made the connection before about why all of these figures, these very strange, bizarre figures across the world, like
I
your Donald
hope you get to do your manufacturing research.
Trumps and the president of Argentina and whoever that one is of Hungary, they're always just propping them up over and
yes,
over and
Captain
over
Buggy.
again. And they're talking about how awesome they are. And I genuinely thought that it was something of this sort of groundswell of, oh yeah, we just like insane figures now. But then you look at this and you realize, no, it is the elite that are insane and stupid now, because like we're saying, they've just completely degenerated from where they were when it was back in the days of titles and ladies and dames, and they used to have decorum, and so politics used to have this very decorum charm, Dimitri, which was a better world. It really was in many, many, many ways, especially because there actually was a sense of community.
Can I make a weird hot take here? Obviously, I'm not in favor of either of these, but if it's between like Elon Musk being our oligarch ruler with Peter Thiel, Gina Reinhardt over here, like oligarchy, right? I would literally rather have monarchy. Because at least the monarch has to pretend to give a shit. And it's one guy. You know who he is, it's one guy, he has to at least pretend to give a shit. Like, if it's ridiculous, the situation that we're in. Obviously, that's not where it's going. That's never going to happen. But, like, that's how bad it is right now. The Australians have big fancy dinner and dick ride MAGA from another country. What the fuck is going on? Yeah, this is the entire mining industry. I have a solution as American citizen. Visora can stand for U.S. election. To be fair, I wasn't born in the U.S., so you would have to take it to a court and tell them that the 14th Amendment does actually say that there should be no distinction between born citizens and naturalized citizens. But, Lenin, you should not be the monarch. I would hate to allow you in power.
Giving back, you know? And I think, honestly, the reason that you have these big politicians like your Trumps and this guy here, the Argentina psycho, is purely because look at the elite now. They're just scum. They're scum with billions of dollars. Stupid scum that like stupid scum, and then they just keep pumping them out in the press and saying how awesome they are.
Can I call them scum? Is that, like, gonna get me banned from Twitch? These people are fucking scum.
The public sits there and goes, yeah, that's what we need. We need a leader like that.
The woke agenda have collided with reality and no longer have credible solutions to offer to the actual problems of the world.
Again, everywhere you go, it's the same fucking narrative. Whether you're in America, whether you're in Australia, England, France, Germany, Israel, the woke agenda, the deep state, the fucking green energy, all of these dumbass fucking conspiracy theories that are all essentially copying QAnon, which, like, we need to really ban the internet. Can we just, like, can we go full Butlerian jihad and destroy every thinking machine and just kind of regress a little bit and try again? Please? This isn't working.
End quote. Thank you once again for joining us to celebrate our important National Day. And thank you to our wonderful sponsors. I hope you all enjoy our time together here at Santos.
Holy hell. I didn't see him. Our boy Barnaby's there as well. Of
Scummy
course
fucking
Barnaby Joyce
ghouls.
is there. Of course he is. But I didn't notice. But look at this group of all...
By the way, yeah, fortify your minds now, because not only is AI even more of an issue, although thankfully at the very least right now we've been using AI to piss off Donald Trump, but on top of this, you understand, right, that, like, the entirety, like, every live streamer that you watch, all the YouTubers that you watch, they're gonna get censored a whole lot more. A lot more. As soon as these people come into power. You know, they're gonna make every social media site exactly like Twitter, where it's just Nazis and the algorithm favors right wing and just erases anything left wing. That's the future. That's what you need to understand. You're gonna have to try and listen and read between the lines. You need to learn how to do critical thinking now. Like, you can't say cisgender on Twitter without being flagged for hate speech, but you can shout the N-word if you're fucking Andrew Tate. By the way, this is the only acceptable use of AI. They literally say it's a hate slur. It's going to be a targeted psychological propaganda campaign designed for the individual. Yes, let me, I think I have a picture of me getting censored for saying exactly that. I guess not. Well, yeah, I've been full on cut from being able to tweet for a couple days because I said the word cisgender. You need to understand that everything is going to... No, it's not a real Trump post. That's Grok made that. That was the point of understand that everything you see can now be fake and be really difficult to tell. Media literacy is dead. And you're about to be faced with, like, you guys don't understand your future. In a year, the only media in America is going to be Fox News and Truth Plus State Media. They're going to merge Truth Social and Twitter together. Kick and Rumble are going to merge with Twitch and YouTube and become exactly the same thing. Nothing is going... It's the exact purpose of AI. That is it. That's it. That's it. Some people can't read... America has a 65% rate of adults who cannot read functionally above a 6th grade level. As in, they could not pick up a Harry Potter book and comprehend it. They can read the words, but they can't comprehend what they're reading. Not even the themes, just like the story. Kids even, no one can read. When asked if we want to take the red pill or the blue pill, we should have taken the blue pill. That's so... By the way, you guys know that, like, the Matrix is an allegory for being trans? And right-wingers just ignore that. That's the whole story. It's written by 2 trans women. And the whole point of the movie is, like, an allegory for transness. They're so fucking stupid.
All stars, and I'm really, really digging the drill baby drill hat here.
By the way, watch Sensei.
Now, here's your man
Did
with
you
Clark.
not know that, Lennon? Yeah, the entire movie is about being trans. I'll pull up a video on it.
Every single time. This is what I'm talking about. Like a guy with a hat that says drill baby drill. This is the guy calling the shots. How much better was it? This is why I'm a monicus. It was so much better when it was King
But
Charles.
also, like, both the directors who are trans have said exactly that, and they also wrote them. But we'll watch a video on it.
Doing it. A guy with a crown and some dignity, damn it. Drill baby drill. That's the new crown.
And please never forget, we all need to stand up to make our voices heard and deliver the messages to our government that
Yeah, by the way, take that advice. Stand up and make your voices heard, and don't deliver messages to your government. Become the government.
Hello,
Here you
Lily
go.
Wachowski.
Sense8 was amazing all the way through. This is literally from, like, Lily Wachowski.
Hello, Lily Wachowski here.
Let me put my camera down so that I'm not blocking her. What happened to the sound?
I'm glad that people are talking about the movies, the Matrix movies, with a trans narrative. I love that how meaningful those films are to trans people, and the way that they come up to me and say, these movies saved my life, because when you talk about transformation...
Chat didn't know that The Matrix is a movie about being trans, so I'm playing a video from the director explaining it.
Specifically in the world of science fiction, which is just about imagination, it's like, and world building, and like the idea of the seemingly impossible becoming possible, I think is like, that's why it speaks to them so much. And I'm grateful that I can be a part, throwing them a rope to help them along their journey. I'm glad that it has gotten out that, that was the original intention. But
Damn, right from the creator.
the world wasn't quite ready at a corporate level. The corporate world wasn't ready for it. So when you make
It's so
movies
funny when
and
you hear
you,
these people talking about taking the red pill. They're talking about taking estrogen.
it's this public art form. I think any kind of art that you put out into the universe, there's a letting go process.
Oh no, they know. They just ignore it.
Because it's entering into like public dialogue. I like
video's
that.
3 years old.
There's like an evolution process that we as human beings engage in art in a non-linear way. That we can always like talk about something in new ways and in new light. We had, the Matrix stuff was all like about the desire for transformation, but it was all coming from a closeted point of view. And so we had the character of Switch, who was like a character who would be, a man in the real world.
Star Wars was about Vietnam. Goddamn, Americans are idiots. Yeah.
then a woman in the Matrix, and
Also, like the rest of the world too.
that's
We're all idiots because
Both
we're
were.
manufactured idiocy.
where our headspaces were.
We're not taught anything. It's
I
manufactured idiocy.
don't know how present my transness was in the background of my brain as we were writing it, but it all came from the same sort of fire that I'm talking about. And because trans people exist in this, especially for me and Lana, we were existing in this space where the words didn't exist, so we were always living in a world of imagination. It's why I gravitated towards science fiction and fantasy and, played Dungeons and Dragons. It was all about
Literally just
creating
stereotypical queer right there.
worlds. And so I think it freed us up as filmmakers because we were able to imagine stuff at that time that you didn't necessarily see on screen. Or even the idea of
No fascist could ever produce something that has layers of meaning like this, ever. They could not do it. Elon Musk could not, with all the money in the world, could spend $1 trillion to make a movie and it would be dog shit.
how can we exist in as many genres as possible? One of our things that we really enjoyed doing was
No, Keanu's not
sort
a
of
wizard.
genre.
Oh, well, I mean, I suppose in the sense of the movie, kind of. It's an allegory. It's not saying that's what the movie is. It's a theme in the movie, and that's what the movie means, even if that's not what that's what an allegory is. Let me give you an actual definition of the word allegory. A story or poem or picture that can be interpreted to reveal a hidden meaning, typically a moral or political one. That's the movie. The movie is not Keanu is trans, it's just an allegory for transness. It's Nietzsche slave making AI so they can sorry, it's Nietzsche's slave master dynamics in a movie. Yes, that's why they're making AI, so they can think that they're artists. Well, also because they want to replace your job so they don't have to pay you for your labor. And the entire thing is Black People Bad. The movie should have been swallowed and surface layer. Yeah.
Bending where you
This
would have
stream is an allegory for why corporations are bad and why capitalism should not exist.
stuff
Sure.
that felt like kung fu movies and
I mean, to be fair, no, it's not really an allegory because it's not a hidden meaning. I say it all the time.
anime and westerns. And then we always loved this scene that Ned Beatty would do in this movie Network, where he would talk about the way the world was, and it was always from this corporate hierarchical overlord structure. And so I think in our transness we
I
are
mean,
always
she is. But yeah, there you go. So this is a trans movie. Oh, by the way, before we go back, chat, you like my shirt? I don't know if you can read it. Is it backwards? Oh, fuck, it's showing it backwards. I'll only flip my camera so you can read it. Absolutely riveting. Oh, I love me a good pun. I love that got me a follow. The frog pun got me a follow. Thank you for that. I fight for them. All right, let's get back to these ghouls.
They have got us on the down path with their current policies. Let's
Ribbit,
help
ribbit.
deliver that up path. Wishing you all a very Merry Christmas and thank you.
The
Now you've got
frogs are
Peter Dutton
gay.
delivering a special message to them. Like it's some.
That was the one thing that riveting and ribbiting, that's the pun. The frogs were actually that was the one thing Alex Jones was kind of close on. They weren't gay, they were intersex and pansexual and probably also polyamorous. They were woke frogs. They weren't gay frogs, but close.
Someone getting freed from a hostage situation in Papua New Guinea or whatever. Now this is something that he definitely does not want
Yeah,
leaked to
base
the
frogs.
public. This is what we all came to see. Your new leader in waiting, ready to be installed by these bush pigs. Let's hear what he has to say, because I can guarantee you right now he's not going to be repeating this on the Today Show, is he?
First, congratulate Gina Reinhardt and Tad Wetruba as patrons of this
The man literally looks like a penis. Just take his glasses off and turn him around and he just looks like the head of a dick.
National Mining
He's a dick.
and Related Industries Day. I thank them sincerely for the leadership they provide in a sector so critical to our national economy. And when mining does well, as you well know, our nation does well.
So just regurgitating the same talking points back to them. I suppose the main reason that you would do that is to say, yes, I'm in the club. It's sort of lingo that the youth use to
Oh, I get it. It's because the frog got legs. No, well, no. Riveting means interesting, and, frogs ribbit. It's wordplay. Absolutely riveting instead of riveting. That's it. There's nothing more than that. It's not about like the legs. I thought they were transgender skibbity frogs. Please never ever say skibbity again in my chat, Oxpecker. That like caused me pain. He actually looks like you could play a ghoul role, and yeah, he could be a Fallout ghoul, easy. And just like makeup on the nose. Is the pink, blue, and white heart behind you? No, that was a neon like light thing that I got at Kmart because I needed a fixture there. But you know what? If it is that, I'm a fan. Based. I don't even think I realized until you said that, but now I like it even more than I did before.
Signify that they're all cool. Also, I know this has been said 1,000 times, but whoever told Peter Dutton to wear those annoying journalist glasses, that is the only time I've ever seen those square glasses and not thought less of someone. It's quite hard to think less of somebody when they have no eyebrows. Way less scary with them. Call it a spade a spade. Good move on the makeup department there.
And over the last decade,
Yeah, I'll give
mining
him
has
that.
contributed some $356 billion in company tax and royalties. It's something that should be taught to every school
I support
child.
trans rights.
Yes. You know what should be taught to every school child? If you break that down, it's like 30 billion a year.
One more time. Let's hear that one more time. So, over the last decade, mining has contributed
$356 billion
billion
in company tax and royalties.
in 10 years, which is equivalent to 1 year of the health budget, by the way. Like, I mean, slightly over. It was 250 billion for the health budget for a year. So in 10 years, they've paid slightly over 1 year of the health budget.
It's something that
They
should
were intersex frogs, not trans. They had like both. Some of them couldn't reproduce, some of them could. Generally, it was the chemicals from like the corporation that was spewing them into the water that was turning. No, it was 200 million that was put in from a different thing. You misunderstood. It's 250 billion is the actual budget for healthcare. We looked at that earlier as well. Australia healthcare budget again. That 200 million was from like one specific investment that they were talking about. The budget for healthcare in Australia. Wow. Okay, no, it's going to increase then. So it's actually not even that. It's 120. It's 112 billion, and they're going to increase it to 122 billion by 2028. That's fucked. I'm buggy. Like, am I lagging? By the way, private healthcare shouldn't exist. Like, all of these would be better if not for the existence of private healthcare. Private healthcare is what ruins public healthcare. Gender abolitionist frogs, based. Omnigendered frogs, based. They're laughing at what I said in chat. Oh, cool.
be taught to every school child.
Yes.
You
know what
guys should
be taught to
like
every school child.
also jump over to YouTube and drop me a like in case I get banned for some of the shit that I'm saying about these assholes right now.
If you break that down, it's
don't
like
like
30 billion a year. When they're making 250
Bezos
billion
owns
in
the
profit. So
site.
there we go. He just gave us our answer. So on average, they're probably making $250 billion a year, and they're giving out 35 billion. So less than 10. I mean, a little bit over 10%. That's their great contribution to this.
10% of their income per year. That's the corporate, like, it's not the corporate tax rate, but that's how much the corporations are paying. 10% of their profits. Remember, under FDR, what the corporate tax rate was in the US? Anyone? How about the individual gross income tax rate? Let's have a look. Here we go. Individuals, a normal and a surtax levied against the net income of individuals as shown follows. If you were if you were earning more than $5 million, which let's money accounted for inflation over time calculator, thank you. This valued at $5 million. In the calendar year of, what is this, 1936? I'm just going to do this. 1936, 5 million adjusted for $113 million. So if you made $100 million, 79% of that got taxed, meaning you did not make anywhere near that much. Close to 90. Yeah, we need that back. I want that. I want everyone that makes over $5 million. You know what? Keep it at $5 million. If you make over $5 million, I'll put that to 50%. If you make over 10, 80%. You make over 50, 99% of your money gets taxed. That's my fucking way to go about it. Fuck these rich people. They're ghouls. They hate you guys. They really, really, really do.
Thank you so much.
It's helped to provide our military with state-of-the-art equipment. Put simply, the revenue generated by mining helps to build Australia, care for Australia, and to defend Australia.
Oh, it did. 1943. Yeah. FDR was... Why do you think my cat's name is Franklin Delano Roosevelt?
Reality is overlooked by the current federal Albanese Labor government.
How? He's making them pay their share in tax. He's the one that is getting all of these bills, roads built. When you were in government for the last 10 years, there was tens of billions of dollars sitting in various investment funds that never got built. And you know why? Because this whole thing of, oh yeah, we need to cut back on government spending, it's all waste. You know what happens when that happens? It goes into these funds and there's not enough bureaucrats around to allocate that to projects. And so it just sits there accumulating, doing nothing. So not only is Albanese building all of the infrastructure that you've neglected.
I disagree with that entirely. What happens is that money just gets funneled to rich people's bank account. That's it. It's corruption. That's it.
The last 10 years, that we are behind as a nation. 10 years in infrastructure build that we should be. Not only is he doing that, he's also taxing these mining companies appropriately. 5 times more than you were when you were in government. 5 times more. He's building all of this infrastructure and they're sitting there saying, this point is overlooked by the Albanese government.
The pragmatic Labor Party run by Hawke and Keating is gone. And the modern Labor Party under Mr Albanese has turned its back on workers and primary industries across the nation.
Yes, and they turned their back on...
Again, how Republicans frame themselves as the party of the middle class when they're objectively the party of the ultra-wealthy and nothing else.
Primary industries and workers. The Labor Party turned its back on workers by giving them wage increases every year that they've been in government. They've also been increasing the amount of award wages that you get every single year. They also had an actual inflation reduction program that worked, unlike your government. They went after the supermarkets with hard fines. All of these things the coalition opposed.
Yeah.
They also gave out tax cuts to the middle class.
Hey, you guys want to see the best Christmas present you could ever give anybody? If you get it, you get it. You don't. Look, I'm gonna interrupt this for 1 second with a little clip.
The Republican Party is basically a party of the super rich, and they have to have a popular base. And one way in which they've organized the popular base is what are called in the PR industry values. Keep away from issues. What are called in the PR industry values. Keep away from issues and focus on values. In other words, don't let people think about the fact average real wealth has actually declined for about 90% of the population. Don't let them think about that. Don't let them think about the fact that Americans have the highest workload in the world, the lowest benefits, the least social, the only country with basically no advanced country with no health services. You can't take care of your elderly mother. I mean, don't let people think about that sort of thing. Let them think about rising to heaven when all the evil has been destroyed and the souls are saved, okay? Or let them think about having a lot of guns that they can run around with and kill all the aliens who are going to attack them, or something like that. Let them think about those things, but keep away from the issues. Okay, don't let them don't deal with the fact that they really oppose these corporate run.
Hey there, Jeffrey Epstein's friend and tax associate. I mean, he's right in there, but still. But also, again, this is your new tax changes. How many of you are in the 360 to 914,000 range? Any of you? Is there a single one of you here that fits into this range? No, but that's fair. No, if I fight for them, I do not blame you for that. But it was a good point. Again, your taxes go up, theirs goes down. Your money gets transferred to them. And then they also cut Social Security. They cut Medicare. You're never going to get your pension. They hate you. You exist as property to them.
some working class that you were going to give out exclusively to Gina Reinhardt, essentially, and this is turning their back on workers. Oh, and also instilling a bunch of workers' legislation that protected them from being killed on site. This is how they're turning their back on the everyday worker, and how Peter Dutton is really sticking up for them when his party voted to keep that legislation in place that was killing construction workers.
It's now a party which panders to social and environmental activists, to inner city Green voters, and of course
Was
to the
this
big union.
policy that was killing construction workers? I mean, I don't see that. Oh, I see. Yes, this was the PSYOP that they did when a union was out protesting because people were dying in the industry. And there were some shitty people in the union. There were some corrupt people, but then they conflated it with the entirety of the union and with the entirety of the movement. The opposition agreed to pass a bill after securing several amendments, including a 3-year minimum administration period for the union and its branches that only administrators could end early. The administration period can last up to 5 years. Yeah, the administrators, by the way, were the corrupter ones, but like, you know, found guilty of crimes, be banned from life, and be unable to become bargaining agents at other registered organizations without holding a fit and proper person certificate. Great. Those who attempt to frustrate or obfuscate the process could face hefty fines, up to years in prison. Great. The administrator has assured the opposition that the union will not spend any money on political campaigns. Oh, by the way, Australia's banning money in politics. We banned it on state level in a couple of states, and now we're having a federal ban on money in politics that's being discussed. Not going to pass, obviously, but like the state level ones did. The union criticized the law, saying it stripped members of their right to fair process. Criminal allegations were taken seriously, and people had been stood down pending legal procedures. They remaining untestified in court. Until allegations have been tested by the legal system, people and organizations are entitled to fair process. Not anymore. Again, Luigi Mangione allegedly killed Brian Thompson, but is anyone saying allegedly? No. They might be innocent to reality. They might be ignorant to it all. At this point, if you're ignorant to reality, that's willful and it's your fault. That's not a, that is not a good enough excuse. He's guilty until proven innocent. The mayor of New York will go around talking about how this is a terrorist who came to my city. The mayor of New York is like literally having to go to trial for getting paid by the Turkish government for the last 10 years. He's innocent until proven guilty, but no, you don't get that. You don't get that extended to you because corporations own the government. They don't work for you. They work for them. They hate you.
I do not believe in that, like, just as a worldview, that we wait for Democrats as a political party to save the country. I don't believe that the structure of that party does that inherently. Now, that doesn't mean, to me, that doesn't mean that you don't vote for them, but I believe that building independent power of people's movements, union, labor.
Change comes from the bottom up. Lasting positive change comes from the bottom up. If they're innocent of reality, tell me where you can be, what, like the islands of people that are, what's that island where you're like not allowed to go to because they haven't been influenced by society and they kill you if you go there? What's that island? Like them, maybe, sure, yeah.
Union bosses
Only people
who
that
want
get
new
the
power
excuse.
in national life.
So stupid, isn't it? If there's one thing the Labor Party doesn't do, it's pander to the inner city. They've lost those seats permanently to these arsehole Greens. How the hell are they pandering to them? What? How? By building public housing in their seats that they don't want built there. That's really pandering to the Greens. We're not doing anything about aeroplane noise.
And it's sidelined the national interest in the process. Consider the government's environmental policy. They funded activists to wage lawfare to stymie key projects. These activists have targeted offshore LNG projects in the Northern Territory and in Western Australia.
Oh, look, we're attacking the fossil fuel industry. How could we? Oh, in Northern Territory and Western Australia, where the reefs are. Yeah, cool.
And now Regis is one.
LNG offshore drilling right next to some of the world's most famous reefs, but sure. I mean, to be fair, the Great Barrier Reef is mostly towards Queensland and not like necessarily the Northern Territory, but that ecosystem all connects.
$1 billion gold mine in New South Wales is in their crosshairs.
See, again, what do you see in the media that you consume constantly? From your crikeys, your Saturday papers, you constantly hear, Labor turns its back on the environment. Labor's not doing enough for the environment. You immediately switch over to these guys and they're complaining about huge multi-billion-dollar projects being stymied in benefit of the environment.
The government's also passed new mandatory climate disclosure laws. Businesses will not simply have to account for their own emissions. They'll also have to account for emissions produced along their supply chain, including by small business suppliers.
Oh, the audacity. What a terrible nightmare.
One more time. I need to hear that. Climate disclosure laws, businesses will not simply
have to account for their own emissions. They'll also have to account for emissions produced along their supply chain.
Wow, you're responsible for the consequences of the actions of your company, even if it's not directly you doing it. It's the supply chain? Who could have thought? Fucking wanker. Sorry, forgot that I was covering Geordies again. This is the same argument that I make in that Brian Thompson is a mass murderer. Luigi Mangione allegedly killed one mass murderer. Is he guilty of murder? We'll find out. Well, I mean, they'll declare him guilty regardless. But had he been guilty, would he be a murderer? Yeah. The other one was a mass murderer, though.
Including by small business suppliers.
Oh, the audacity. What a terrible nightmare universe. See, I've got to just keep pointing this out. This whole myth that the Labor Party is doing absolutely nothing about climate emissions and going really soft, going so soft.
They're not doing enough, but they're definitely doing a lot.
Bought by the mining industry. Which Labor MP is sitting there? There might be one, but there seems to be a hell of a lot of nationals. Anthony Albanese isn't doing this grovelling speech to the mining industry's Christmas party, is he? What is Peter Dutton saying is just the absolute terror that is going to be bestowed upon the mining industry. Environmental regulations that the Labor Party is putting on the mining industry. And everyone sits there and goes, they're cowards, they're not doing enough.
The government
we have that. I fight for them.
Also pressing ahead with the green tape agenda. And make no mistake, this agenda is about putting environmental goals ahead of economic ones, rather than striking a balance. The regulatory burdens are going to get even worse. We can expect the government to double down on using Commonwealth environment and cultural heritage laws to stymie even more projects.
I mean, I'm American. I do mostly American politics, but I am in Australia and we have an election coming up, and I'd rather not end up, the same way that we did in America, so.
If this government continues to be in power, they will enforce the law. Behind closed doors, he is telling these people, we will allow you to get away with breaking the law. And the reason that we need to get the Labor government unelected is because they dare enforce the law.
Yeah. Consider the government's industry policy too. The Future Made in Australia Fund.
The same argument, by the way. The same fucking argument. The same one that they make in America. Every time. All of these people have this only one, it's like a hive mind.
Simply about this government picking its own winners while sidelining known market winners. The Prime Minister has said not a single government dollar would be invested in gas under his Future Made in Australia plan.
Based.
And tellingly, between 2022 and 23 alone.
Not a single dollar invested in gas. Based.
Known market winners. The Prime Minister has said not a single government dollar would be invested in gas under his Future Made in Australia plan. And tellingly, between 2022 and 23 alone, almost 60% of iron ore, coal and gas major projects were delayed, disrupted or put on hold.
There you go. Dutton is making the case for why all the lies that you hear online about shoot and shoot light, Labor's just in the pockets of the mining industry, and he's sitting there and he's saying, this is terrible.
It's not even a new playbook.
The Albanese government's been in place. He has delayed and deconstructed 63% of the projects that we approved as government for mining. Unbelievable. I can't believe that he did it. And on top of that, he's picking winners. Instead of me picking winners and not funding renewables.
And then the left in Australia will lose their shit. You don't understand. I have less hope of making any change here than I did. I had an easier time talking with Republicans than I do with Australian leftists, because all of them hate each other. They just want to critique power. There's no organization. There's just little groups every here and there, but none of them will work together. All of the young people vote for the Greens, who go out of their way to work with the Liberals to block the Labour Party from being able to do anything. And then all the newspapers write about how Labour does nothing. And then the Liberals get back in. It's a strategy. Murdoch owns 90% of the media here. I'm not an Albo stan, but he's better than ScoMo was. He's better than the last 4 prime ministers. I mean, I would have preferred a proper Whitlam, but bring him today. Bring Whitlam back to life today and make him the prime minister, please.
And not funding
The
hydrogen.
CIA's weak. Kissinger's gone. We can do it.
and not funding battery powers and creating a blue-collar industry with a bunch of high-paid, blue-collar jobs that are all unionized, manufacturing things, making things in this country, as opposed to just digging shit out of the ground and remaining dumb as pig shit as these people are. To work in factories, you have to be a hell of a lot more educated than you do to be working in a mine, which not only improves the circumstances of the working class, makes us an energy superpower, but like a good Saudi Arabia. This is the vision that Labor has for this country. It is absolutely criminal that you will never hear ever in the press because, again,
I'm gonna be a good Saudi Arabia. We can do that.
two factions of the elite. One funds the independents, one funds the liberals. They both do not want a workers' party in power.
In the energy sense.
Like highly unionized, highly educated, blue-collar workers. They don't want any of that. And he's sitting there saying, oh my God, how dare the Labor Party create an educated, blue-collar workforce that makes us extremely wealthy, creates an entire industry around decarbonising the planet. This is the future that the Labor Party has. While you have all these arseholes in the Saturday paper, crikey, all the new media bootlickers of the Australia Institute and Climate 200 sitting there and saying, Labor's too timid. Labor doesn't have a vision for this country, while he's sitting there talking about how much they have stymied the mining industry and how much they're trying to implement an alternative to the mining industry controlling this country.
They have an entire monopoly over the media. There are like 2, 3 Australian content creators on the left. There's Friendly Jordies, there's Boy, and then there's Punter's Politics. That's it. That's the only places you can go to get like real Australian news. Everywhere else is owned by the corporate hogs. What, you want one that's not owned by Murdoch? Okay, you get 9, owned by another billionaire. 9 News, different billionaire. The Liberal Party is the Conservative Party here, yeah, because the Democrats are actually further to the right of the Liberal Party. The Liberals are to the left of the Democrat. Well, they were. Now they're not. But the Labor Party is to the left of the Democrats in America. Even like take the current Labor Party and bring us back to even just like Bill Clinton Democrats, way further to the left than them. Bill Clinton's Democrats are to the right of the Labor Party. It's actually quite telling.
The government's industrial relations policy too. Multi-employer bargaining was foisted upon coal miners in New South Wales. And we're now seeing...
What? One more time?
Policy too. Multi-employer bargaining was foisted upon coal miners.
Multi-employer bargaining was forced upon coal miners. Forced upon bargaining. Labor rights were forced on the miners, guys. We need you to unionize, and we made you do it, and it's so, it's a violation of your rights and your freedom that we forced you to unionize. Fuck you. Is One Nation still a thing, or did they die out? They're still a thing. She was, Pauline Hanson. Pauline Hanson was in the beginning of this video. They're all the same. We have the Nationals as well that work with the Labour Party, or the Liberal Party.
Miners in New South Wales. And we're now seeing a push to reunionise the Pilbara, roping mining companies into multi-employer bargaining.
There you go, this terrible, weak government that is so scared of the mining industry.
Sorry about that, guys. I don't know why that just happened. I had like an alarm set.
Forward this country whatsoever. And there you have Dutton admitting, no, they're trying to unionise the workforce of mines. How dare they?
How
Listen
dare
to this.
they
He's saying this behind
unionise?
closed doors. How dare workers unionise?
Consider too the government's
remember,
energy...
this was not supposed to be released to the public. I forgot. Yeah, what we're watching right now is supposed to go specifically only to the mining industry. This was supposed to be played at this private Christmas party that nobody else would get to see.
Policy. Labor is pressing ahead with a reckless renewables-only plan. It's committed to rolling out weather-dependent energy on an industrial scale. Electricity costs are already skyrocketing, and we know that families can't afford it. Economic analysis released last week reveals that the actual cost of Labor's plan on the East Coast is 5 times more than what it says.
Yeah, you know what the economic modelling is talking about there is? Economic modelling that consultancy firms that are Liberal Party affiliated came up with. Economic modelling that was just released last week. It's incredible. It's incredible. While the economic modelling from the CSIRO shows that his energy pay will increase bills by like $650 a year, and they're sitting there and saying, oh yeah, the economic modelling, according to our friends.
It's the same thing as American politics, PPG. It's just, this just got leaked. Yeah, that was the alarm for like raid, because usually this is the time that stream ends, but I started late.
Bullshit consultancy firm that feed off of the bureaucracy getting privatized and then take up all of the slack from there to feed.
Tyler, if anything's free, you're the product.
The coalition exactly what it wants. According to them, it actually costs 5 times more.
At least under capitalism.
There's no bias in that whatsoever.
In a short 2.5-year period, the Albanese government is hindering our resource industries. And if they're re-elected,
no.
the next 3 years will be even more difficult. Ladies and gentlemen, in recent years and across the world, we've seen multiple examples of parties in government seeking to increase the power of the state. In this desire for greater government control, we've seen agendas which involve the following: more taxation, more spending, more public servants, more regulation, and more
Oh
interference
yes,
in
the
the
honey scam.
economy.
Describing a world going in the right direction and saying this is a nightmare. It says a lot, doesn't it? It really says how bad it is when the Liberal Party gets in the
That's
power.
how evil these people are. They, when I say they're ghouls, when I say they lack humanity because they don't have empathy, they don't care about you, this is what I mean.
We will take the pressure off the housing crisis, and that includes reducing the permanent migration program by 25%.
He walked that back. He was completely lying about it anyway. That whole thing of we're going to cut migrants by 25%, and then they started saying, "Okay, how are you going to do it?" And then he said,
Again, this is just some stupid bullshit. Australia needs more immigration. They just do this because people in big cities are mad because there's the housing crisis and the immigrants are coming to the big cities, but there's not anywhere to live. How about the energy plan I laid out that not a single person has been able to give me a valid reason why it's not a better idea than the goddamn opposition leader's plan? Not a single person. Literally yesterday at Christmas, I was having Christmas with 7 people who all had university degrees. 3 of them at least were medical professionals, and not a single one of them could tell me why this wasn't a good idea. But no, dickhead over here needs to whinge about immigrants when we need fucking immigrants. We just need you to build some houses first.
actually, we're not going to do that. So already, it's just incredible.
If we want the Visora energy plan to play out, we have to make it play out. Well, I mean, no one's gonna listen to me. I'm not even a fucking citizen yet. But God damn it, I just need anyone to pay attention in Australia, in Australian politics. A single person who just doesn't instantly go, I don't care. They've been taught to do this so much more so than Americans have. At least Americans are at least somewhat motivated about politics. Are you Australian, PPG? I didn't know you're Australian.
He's got no ideas for this. It's always the same.
Yeah, in Australia, that's what I mean. In America, at the very least, people are paying attention. There is no organized left. There is no, the freedom sausages are not working. No. I mean, we have mandatory voting, so people go do that, but they don't pay attention to who to vote for. They don't listen. They don't care. No one learns about it. Most people decide, again, as we saw during the election in America, most people decide at the very last minute.
No ideas for this country at all. Nothing. His big ideas, nuclear power, definitely not going to happen. We're cutting migration by 25%. Absolutely not happening. He's already walked back both. What is his big vision for this country? Make mining elites even richer.
I also want to unleash the magic of the marketplace. I'm keen to rip up as much red and green tape as possible.
One more time. I played this during election day, but just to get a feeling of how people vote, right?
Blaine. Now, I want to take us inside the bedroom here. Bear with me.
Obviously, this is a bit outdated now.
There we go. So this is Nick Camden, 37-year-old registered independent. He goes Hillary in 2016, Trump in 2020.
Really funny.
Which way is he going to go in 2024? Really hard to say at this point. It's pretty early, but we know it's going to be close.
And Jason, what are you seeing inside this person that might indicate movement one way or another?
So this is just a very ordinary Rust Belt body, small town values, predominantly white. It's got the lungs, it's got the vascular system, the heart, but I actually want to show you what's in here. This is the neocortex and the amygdala. These are areas of the brain responsible for regulating emotion and memory.
This is your median voter.
So let's play out a couple of scenarios here. If, for example, this man remembers his grandmother and the time she took him to an Al Gore rally in 1999, feels good about that, that's a win for the Democrats. On the other hand, take a look at this. This is the area of the brain that's associated with social interaction and groups, and we've seen it light up when Nick goes out for beers with his Trump-supporting coworkers. So we're looking at really a thin margin here. I want to show you something, actually. Let's come back out. Let's go past the rib cage, past the lungs, past the heart, past the tumor. Healthcare going to be a really big issue in this election, obviously. Past the DNA to what we're calling the source, the origin of life, existence itself, where all of humanity's answers can be found.
And
that's your average voter, by the way. They're the inside the brain. It's last minute shit. No one pays attention. No one reads. First of all, most people don't even believe in reality anymore. You give them stats and they go, oh, this is deep state shit. Whether it's from the government, whether it's from any institution, whether it's from a university, whether it's done just by a person. No one believes anything because no one wants to feel uncomfortable. That's the prerequisite for critical thinking, is the ability to feel discomfort without reacting to it.
And that's essential for our international competitiveness and making our nation a mining and manufacturing powerhouse again.
Just so we know about this manufacturing thing, right? Because I do genuinely think that the way to really improve living circumstances, it makes so much sense, the Future Made in Australia plan, when you really read about it. What Albanese government's whole point of doing it's huge what they're doing, huge. Building back a manufacturing base for this country, but building back a manufacturing base for the 21st century that is based off of renewable energy. Compare that to the Liberals, that when John Howard was in, 100,000 jobs of manufacturing shipped overseas. Then when the Coalition was in last time, 100,000 jobs shipped overseas in manufacturing.
It's exactly the same thing that the Republicans do. Meanwhile, all of us down on the low spectrum of wealth are uncomfortable all the damn time, but they can't even take a lift and need a valet. Well, yes, you're forced to learn how to feel uncomfortable, at least if you have, like, if you're lucky enough. You might go the way of, I can deal with this discomfort and think about it, do some introspection, some critical fucking thinking, and come to a conclusion. But most people just feel that, and then they want it out of their body. And so what is the easiest way to do that? Either scream about immigrants, or how black people are ruining America, or Mexicans, or whatever the fuck, Venezuelans, Haitians. It's reactionary. Drugs, everything. That's just how they cope. It's cope.
Then when Labor's in, 70,000 jobs in manufacturing made within the first 2 years. So over a decade, 100,000 lost under Howard. Over a decade, 100,000 lost under the next three bozos. And then in 2 years, they brought back 70,000 of those jobs. Because that is where you want blue-collar workers working. You do not want them being little kit demons. You want them being educated. You want them being skilled, and you want them building a future that actually is environmentally sustainable and good for the world.
Friends, I make you this promise. A Dutton coalition government will be the best friend the resource sector in Australia will ever have. We will slash project approval times in half by capping assessment timeframes and restricting stop-the-clock provisions. We will accredit states and territories to provide approvals which meet Commonwealth legislation requirements. We will reintroduce geological bioregional assessments in key regions to unlock new projects. We will include gas in the capacity investment scheme.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to, I was using their rhetoric there.
Investment in recognition
of the... Do you hear this, by the way? Do you understand what he is saying right now? Biden was the best president for labor in the United States since FDR.
Investment timeframes and restricting stop-the-clock provisions. We will...
Sorry, one more time.
The resource...
Right here.
For the world.
Friends, I make you this promise. A Dutton coalition government will be the best friend the resource sector in Australia will ever have. We will slash project approval times in half by capping assessment timeframes and restricting stop-the-clock provisions. We will accredit states and territories to provide approvals which meet Commonwealth legislation requirements. We will reintroduce geological bioregional assessments in key regions to unlock new projects. We will include gas in the capacity investment scheme, and that will drive investment in recognition of the crucial role that gas plays in our energy mix. We will defund the activist-led Environmental Defenders Office. We will limit the ability of third parties to challenge decisions under the EPBC Act. We will do all these things because I want to turbocharge mining in Australia.
Straight from the horse's mouth.
That's literally from the guy. That was never supposed to be released to the public, by the way. It was never, that was not like, that was privately to the fossil fuel lobby. That was just meant to be played at their Christmas party. No one was supposed to see it. I remember there was an issue with immigrant nurse professionals not being able to get work authorization, either Aus or New Zealand, and that blew up. Yeah, because we really fucking need healthcare professionals. So the issue here being, we in Australia are dying for like more medical professionals, any of them. But yes, there absolutely is a preference show for immigration from certain countries and not others. Definitely. Also, immigrating to Australia is not easy. I came here on a tourist visa. I met my partner and we started living together. And then I applied for a de facto visa. And that cost me just about $8,000 just for the application. That's it. Just the application. Biden being the most pro-labor candidate since FDR. Yeah, that is sad. How does any of that sound good to the average person? The average person's not supposed to, yeah, exactly, hear it. If I'd said something like this to 2020 donors in a closed room meeting, I would believe that. But also, Biden walked the picket line at strikes and said he didn't believe in Taft when the longshoremen went on strike, and the union just instantly won. The moment that he said, like, oh, I don't believe in Taft, the corporation backed down and negotiated. And that's a chunk just to apply. Yeah, if you get denied, you don't get that back.
Couldn't have put it better myself. Do we really need to unpack any of that? I mean, everything that he just said then is horrifying.
I want to lean into growing opportunities like critical minerals, rare earths and uranium. Indeed, uranium will be even more important as more nations build zero-emissions reactors. The next federal election will be a simple choice between three more...
don't forget that they spent a fuckload of money on infrastructure investment. You're not going to see the infrastructure changes until about 2026, and Trump's going to take credit for it, but all of the infrastructure investments in the United States, that was Biden too. He was really good domestic policy-wise. He's just really fucking shit with Israel. Lena Khan was the most base woman in America. Yeah. He was just bad on foreign policy, and he was a liberal, but he was a pretty good... If Israel hadn't done what it did, then he would have had a pretty good legacy. She wants to break up Google, yeah. I think they actually succeeded in that. Google has to sell Chrome.
Years of a Labor government or a Labor minority government with the Greens that will double down on its hostility to mining and hold back our national prosperity. Or electing a new coalition government, which knows that getting our country back on track means getting mining moving full steam ahead. I hope that all in your sector have the opportunity to thrive. I really do. We will have your backs, and I hope that you'll have ours as well. Gina, a final...
Yeah, have the mining sector's back, but not yours. Okay, no, it hasn't been passed. One more time again? The guy who you're supposed to represent you. This is the guy that Australians might vote in as the Prime Minister, who's supposed to represent you. What does he say?
Coalition government, which knows the ability to mining and hold back our national prosperity. Or electing a new coalition government, which knows that getting our country back on track means getting mining moving full steam ahead. I hope that all in your sector have the opportunity to thrive. I really do. We will have your backs, and I hope that you'll have ours as well. Gina, a final word to you. I want to say thank you very much for your friendship, but also the way in which you...
Okay, so this is just dick sucking. Great. We have your back to the corporations, and we don't give a fuck about the rest of you. Oh, and thank you, richest person in Australia, for your support.
Champion this industry. The leadership you've provided, you're not only bettering our nation through your philanthropic deeds, but you're also playing a pivotal role in contributing to our national debate. Thank you for speaking up on many issues that are in our country's best...
Contributing to our national debate. Yeah, I mean, you know what? I would say that that's a true statement. She does have a pivotal role in contributing to the national debate by making the fucking narrative whatever she wants it to be, because she's the richest person in the country.
Interests, be that on tax reform, on bolstering our nation's defence, on having a managed and sustainable migration program, on the need to eliminate government inefficiency and waste, on the importance of eradicating...
Oh, sorry. Actually, that was a misspeak. That was correct. He wants to eliminate government efficiency.
From our classrooms, and much, much more besides. It takes courage to speak up on these issues, because you, like many of us, become subject to a torrent of abuse from...
It takes courage to speak up on how much of a ghoul we are and how much we hate the poor and want to steal their wealth, because when you do, people get really mad at you. You know, when you start talking about how the poor are just like serfs and slaves, and we should cut all of their social programs and take all of their money and give it to you, Miss Gina Reinhart, they get really mad. So I'm really proud of you for being able to speak your mind. It's very courageous. Shut the fuck up.
The vocal liberal left and the keyboard warriors. But I know that it doesn't deter you 1 inch.
Well, he's got us there.
Thank you for voicing concerns which are shared by quiet, patriotic Australians across our great country. Ladies and gentlemen, I join with you in celebrating this National Mining and Related Industries Day. I hope that our best days are ahead of us, and I wish you every success into the future. Thank you very much.
Unfortunately...
Absolutely. There you go. It's so fucking funny. Thank you, Friendly Jordies, by the way. Thank you for allowing me to watch some of your content and have it reach American and European viewers.
Kevin Gallagher couldn't make it here tonight.
That guy is the worst MC in history, isn't he? Some South African that is MCing all of these billionaires are very scared of his job. Also is very bad at presentation.
Thank you, Gerhard, and to Mrs. Reinhardt.
Look, exactly moral courage before the election. It was obviously about voting for Trump. It was a shit show. Yeah, like, your dad is... His brain has rotted, Iodine.
who has been the engine room behind the National Mining Day initiative, and perhaps our
Why does this Scottish man look like a Nazi?
Billionaires are very scared of his job. Also, is very bad at presentation.
Thank you, Gerhard, and to Mrs. Reinhardt, who has been the engine room behind the National Mining Day initiative, and perhaps our country's greatest advocate. I also want to acknowledge distinguished guests, including not one, but 4 federal parliamentarians from Queensland, who are great friends of the resources sector. Senators Susan MacDonald, Matt Canavan and Pauline Hanson, and member for Hinkler, Keith Pitt.
Nationals.
Look at that, all of them. Everyone
Sorry,
there
One Nation, that one.
at the mining Christmas party, all LNP.
I assure you, I am joining you in spirit.
Doesn't that man look dead? Look at him, look at him. There's a man who has the soul sucked out of him. I think that's what happens to you if you work in the mining industry and you have a brain. This guy's obviously way more put together than anybody.
Well, I learned something. Mining industry can be bad sometimes, and now I have to remind myself never to wiki the history of Rio Tinto Mining Company. Well, industry is all I fight for them. If you want to read something, look up floodplain harvesting. Actually, look up his video on it, or you can watch the stream that I did with it.
Anybody else that they've put up there so far. If you're a mushhead like Gina Reinhardt, you can get through 70 years just fine without ever contemplating once that you might be evil. But this guy is smart enough to know that what he is doing is morally abhorrent and bankrupt. And that's what you end up looking like, kids. Pretty much the guy at The Simpsons that... Hang on, I'll show you this.
When do we get the freaking guns? To get projects off the ground and to bring essential products like natural gas to market. A product that delivers energy 24/7. And the polymers that are the building blocks for all kinds of plastics, clothing...
On your point, Oxpecker. This is right-wingers. 2 children will be without their father on Christmas Day because of this murderer. Every right-wing dork bringing up the CEO had kids because there's nothing redeeming about him as an actual person. I was walking in South Philly and I passed the most Italian grandpa Philly man in the world, yelling about this on the sidewalk to his friends, saying, I don't give a fuck if he had kids. Even Hitler had kids. Guy was literally a mass murderer, responsible for the death of at least tens of thousands. I don't know if this is accurate, but like, I would believe it.
Fibers and chemicals that we use every day. The costs of compliance are killing our industries, and this needs to be a focus of whoever wins the next election. Every day, our gas marketers at Santos have to meet around 800 compliance and reporting obligations.
Hitler diddled kids, so maybe that was the point.
Every single transaction.
Guys, let's just go through. Santos made $2 billion in profit.
No, Hitler did have kids.
In profit. After all their expenses, after all their wages, after that guy's salary's taken out, by the way. What do you reckon he's on? 500 million a year? Something like that? Million, 2 million? After all of that, what's left over in profit? $2 billion. And this guy's sitting there saying like, oh, red tape's killing us. We can't continue to thrive and grow. All right, yeah, see, now this guy's too smart. He's not saying anything hilarious, so we will just quit onto him.
The patron of
I don't know if he had kids or not. I know he at the very least diddled kids. Okay, here we go. Fine. Let's learn. Alleged sons. Okay, so he has 2 alleged kids. And of course Hitler was a pedo. He was a Nazi. All Nazis are pedophiles. Sorry. All pedophiles are Nazis, and not like it's how it works. Yeah, pedocon theory is yet to be disproven to me. I mean, look at Matt Gaetz. Of course he diddled kids. They're all fucking losers and freaks and sexual degenerates that try and mask that inner feeling of shame and by putting it on other people and then calling them exactly what I just called them. That's the thing about Nazis. Every accusation from these motherfuckers is a confession, and they're scum, so.
Morning Day. Dad would try, please make Dad feel welcome.
Prayers up to Saddam Hussein's kids who are dealing with another Christmas without Dad, yeah.
Holy hell.
Hello everyone. Welcome everyone.
Okay, let's just...
What the fuck is he wearing?
This man has clearly lost his mind. He is clearly demented. Why is he on stage? Oh my god, look, he's got like the homeless man doomsday. Look at that, he's got the whole... Look at this. What is this? How did anybody allow him to get up like this? What is with his... Like, why are you an activist? They sort of behave exactly the same way as your feral hippies that never stop obstructing traffic on the streets. They're the same as that. It's just that they've got more money.
Well, that's because a lot of the feral hippies in the 70s actually became the right-wingers. You know, all those, like, spiritualist crystal LSD folk from the 70s that were hippies? A lot of them are right-wingers now.
Thank you firstly to Mrs. Reinhardt, founder and co-patron of the National Mining Day.
Yes, we get it. You've said it 1,000 times.
Thank you for your
I don't think that guy does that. I think he
long-standing
just thinks. I think he's so lost that he's thinking, I am the first person to thank Gina Reinhardt. Why hasn't she been thanked yet? Look at him rocking back and forward like this. Surely this man is ailed.
Thank you
to
also
be fair,
for
I
missing
swing back
Kevin and
forth,
Santos
side to
for
side.
hosting us here at the Mumbai famous gas field. It's great to see actually all the plans, and we've seen it from the aircrafts as well. Mining and its related industry are without any
I
doubt
forgot they're hosting this next to like a new gas field that they built so they could go look at so they can eat their Christmas dinner and listen to all of these, I don't know, ghouls talk while they look at their beautiful money being created at the expense of you and the rest of you.
essential to our modern lives. Everything around us, from the food on our plates, to the planes we use to get here, to the cars we drive, hospitals, their medical equipment, and the phones we use in all sorts of ways, rely on the mining industry.
You can tell what's happened to this guy, right? He's obviously some engineer or something from way back, and he really likes drills and likes to build really good drills. That man is really close to the end of his life. This is again one of those like Biden in the debate things. This is senile abuse stuff. I think that this man might actually be very intelligent, but in that really engineering way of, I only specifically care about one specific type of thing, and I don't really care about any of the externalities that happen as a result of me doing this. I just like building the drills. Build drills. That's what he's doing, right? Look, he's even got it still there. It's like wearing it as a bib on his obviously stained shirt.
Maybe he is just like a hyper fixated autistic person that just wants to drill because he really likes drills, like someone that likes trains, maybe, I guess.
Yeah, that's all he thinks about all his life. Drills. I like drills. Drills are cool.
It provides the metals and minerals required for everyone. And it provides plenty of financial benefits too, including significant export revenues, contributing more taxes than all other industries combined, and paying some of the highest average wages anywhere in the world, which we all enjoy. Unfortunately, those contributions are often forgotten. Even worse, many of our politicians and governments choose to wrongly undermine our industry and their policies. Just consider our recent example of a taxpayers being billed almost $900,000. A group of bloody bureaucrats, sorry.
I want to talk to this guy for half an hour. It would be so good to get him on the stream. And I don't want to be mean to him at all. I just want to sit there and say, what do you like other than drills? I just want to know what this man thinks about anything other than drilling. It's just some
Hola, Cartmore Dola.
insane senior citizen. If you got him to talk about anything else, it'd be gold.
In addition to all
This
the other...
guy's name? Where are we at? We're right now at 5717.
Got him to talk about anything else.
Main...
When did this guy come on stage? I want to know his name. Here we go. They're going to announce
Ivan
him.
Grove. All right, yeah, see, now this guy's too smart. He's not...
Mike Dad, well, feel welcome.
They just said it. Come on.
Him.
The patron of National Mining Day, Dad Woodrow, please, Mike Dad.
Tad Woodrow, I think, is what I heard. Tad Woodrow? No.
Well, feel welcome.
Look at this man.
Thank you for the
Holy
fucked
hell.
up subtitles. Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, I don't know his
Welcome,
name.
everyone. It's paid for which, with tax
Maybe, yeah,
monies
that
and
might
largely
work.
come from the mining and gas sectors, to take about how to stop...
Look, did you see that? Sorry, just rewind. Look at this. Look at Gina Reinhardt telling off a waiter. Look at this. Look at this.
Bureaucrats, as you know, flying on fossil...
Incredible, isn't it? Sitting there. Bureaucrats sitting around.
Flying on fossil...
Incredible, isn't it? Sitting there. For waiter. Look at this. Look at this.
Bureaucrats, as you know, flying on fossil...
Incredible, isn't it? Sitting there. Bureaucrats sitting around talking about how to stop the world from boiling over. $900,000. Probably about as much as the silverware cost in this room. $900,000 to talk about very important issues like stopping organised society from disintegrating entirely. Sipping wines in the meantime. And then it cuts to a shot of Gina Reinhardt sipping a wine. What do you think she's saying here?
Mining and gas sectors, to take about how to stop...
I do like his jacket.
This very industry.
She was telling off a waiter for something. Do you reckon it was because of this Gina Reinhardt? Give me another bowl of these potatoes.
And our left governments worry about cows bleaching, but we don't worry about them farting. As the coalition waste sportsman said, the UN COP conferences are fast become carbon dioxide super emitters. We don't need that many bureaucrats swanning around the...
You do realize
Palatial
every
pavilions...
time they just say the word bureaucrat now just means regulation for corporations. That's what that word means. Bureaucrat means I don't get to do illegal things. I can't openly harm you. That's all that means.
On the taxpayers' dime, And when the delegations, a fraction of the size could easily serve Australian interests in reduced carbon emission at the same time.
Did anyone else catch that? He's doing it, isn't he? He's doing the dementia rant. Words are just sort of meshing into each other. Jesus, no wonder these people resonate with Donald Trump so well. He's speaking sense by not speaking any sense at all. His mind is just a soup like mine.
We need new minds each year.
Oh, look,
and we need
again,
more...
I've been calling Donald Trump's brain soup for a while. I mean, it is President Musk these days, but anyone who wants to help you, that too, yeah.
Much more gas. The Moomba gas fields which are here today has served Australians reliably for more than 50 years, and hopefully for next 50 or longer, because governments have chosen to demonize coal and gas and refuse to enable the timely development of our natural resources.
We're demonizing oil and gas, are we? Demonizing it. The thing that's literally ending the world, we're demonizing it.
Well, they just live in this lie. I get it because this guy is no longer tethered to reality at all, and he sees the Grim Reaper coming for him in the... Just let me finish my speech, okay? Everybody else just keeps saying the same thing over and over. The reason we have blackouts is because we don't produce enough gas, forgetting that they forced the government, the previous Liberal government, to sign an agreement which allowed them to export all of our gases immediately out. It's exactly the same as when you go to Rockhampton, the beef capital of Queensland, and the locals don't get a lick, not one of the steaks.
Again, they made $250 billion in profit last year. Profit, not revenue.
Good cow. That all goes immediately. It's all under contract, goes immediately to Japan. Exactly the same thing with the gas. And they just keep saying it over and over. It's the government's fault, yes?
As Mrs. Reinhardt said, we don't need...
All of these people are mass murderers to me. I consider every single one of these people responsible for mass death.
Now is the time for action. We need those like the...
This guy's gonna bring it. Now is the time for action. This man, the Arnold Schwarzenegger in the wings of the mining industry. Doc is cheap. Also, so is this sign, but I think the sign is very cool.
And because they have wrongly chosen renewable-only electricity system, which is impossible to deliver, and which one commentator recently described...
Shut the fuck up. Impossible to deliver. They lie to you all the time. I just keep asking people, when is Trump gonna lay out that plan for helping America? The deportations aren't going to happen. What they're going to do is they're going to build the camps. They're going to take like the 1.5 million fucking like people that are already slated to be deported, put them in there, and then make them do labor because it's a labor camp. It is illegal, obviously, in the United States under the Constitution to do slavery for imprisoned populations. They'll go around, they'll do a show, they'll grab a couple of people, and then they'll throw them in those camps too. They're not getting deported, they're gonna do work. Donald Trump isn't the president, Elon Musk is, and as we've seen over and over again, they just are stealing your money. They're stealing your money. What happened after Luigi Mangione shot Brian Thompson? What happened? They got socialism, is what happened. The rich got socialism. They got socialized healthcare. The oligarchs, 175 CEOs. You, with your tax money, paid for their group therapy with the governor of fucking New York and the mayor of New York. You paid for their socialist therapy. They got their own little private police force. They get their own private 911 so they don't get shot when they call the police. Kill a couple more. Watch what happens. They'll come for your guns. I mean, don't actually do that. I'm not advocating for violence, but I'm saying you have no rights. You live in an oligarchy. If that happened again, they would come for your guns. They don't care. Donald Trump has said that he would erase the Constitution, although he's not in charge. But it's going to trickle down, right? Yeah, it's still waiting on that from Reagan. Maybe one day.
As having to be connected to a complex and expensive life support system the old grids did not need. Solar only generates power between 10 or 25% of the time. Wind usually up to 30% of the time.
That's such a bullshit point because it's like, yeah, that's why you have a national grid that is connected. So when the wind isn't blowing in Queensland, it's blowing in Victoria. And then you trade that energy up there.
It's a country the size of the United States that's all flat land and has a lot of sun and wind. If one part of the country isn't producing that today, then the other part is, and it's all a connected grid.
It's so dumb.
No, Kathy Hochul is not a centrist. She would absolutely bend the knee instantly. Any demand from the oligarchy, she's on board. Again, Luigi Mangione has not been convicted. He pled not guilty. Have you heard a single newscaster refer to him or a politician refer to him as the alleged killer? This would have been a mistrial 10 years ago.
Let all remind their friends and neighbors, our families, and our politicians, especially their kids.
Especially the kids of the politicians. What? That's so good. Let's all remind our friends and neighbors.
Fuck your kids. I don't give a fuck about your kids. Fuck you and fuck your kids.
Wait, not that neighbors.
I miss George Carlin. God, I want the days. Can we go back to like when you could say things that George Carlin would say? Because if I said like, I don't know, even 5 minutes of any of George Carlin's bits on this channel, I'd probably get taken down. I could read one. There was one that I did read on stream. That one was fine. But that one didn't, I don't know, really threaten anybody.
At families.
As Mr. Reinhardt said, if the mining industry declines, so will the standards of living of Australians. Thank you very much.
I'm not saying this, I'm just quoting this, but here are some more people that need to be taken out to the forest and disemboweled with a wooden cooking spoon. Quote, George Carlin, I want to be able to say things like this. Obviously, I'm not advocating for violence, and you should not do that. I miss the ability to have make comedy legal again. Can we do that? Can we make comedy legal again? These people who are motivated are causing all the trouble. Stock swindlers, serial killers, child molesters, Christian conservatives. These people are highly motivated. We need too much motivation. Hello, Merry Christmas, sir. Happy holidays. He actually was Mr. Conductor. I didn't make that up. I don't even know what Mr. Conductor is. Oh, he was. He actually was. Oh my god, he was the conductor from Thomas the Tank Engine. Holy shit. I love that so much. That makes me... I love him, like, infinitely more now that I know this.
Yeah, he deserves a clap.
Ladies and gentlemen, from time to time at National Mining Day, we recognise individuals that have made an extraordinary contribution.
Iodine and borderline. That's what I mean. Like, I wish I could say this. I wish comedy was legal again. Not a Fed post. Sorry, it's on screen, and Twitch will fucking ban me for this shit. Yes, I saw the news. It's well more than that too. I've covered it on my stream, but today's about Australia. I'll bring up the graph in a second.
To the industry over long periods of time.
Yeah. Okay.
Tonight we want to do something similar.
Yeah.
Can I please ask Professor Ian Plimer to join me on stage? Professor Plimer has endlessly spent a lot of time.
Fuck you. Here's the map again. This is the map. It is Canada, Greenland, parts of Mexico, the Yucatan Peninsula, I imagine Nicaragua, Cuba, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, South China Sea, Iceland, Panama Canal. I still don't know what this one is. We already have Hawaii, part of Sicily, and also Cyprus. They want all of it. Nah, it's fine. I brought it up. We were quoting a comedian from the early 2000s. That's all. We were just quoting a comedian. So, dude, when your kids have to count millions of water, you will still be raving about the coal dollars. I mean, yeah. The year is 1805. Napoleon is master of Europe, and comedy is now battlefields. I mean, let's go back. Take me back there, please. I'll go back to 1805. It's better than this.
I'm actually working for the mining industry.
At least then
Thank you very
people
much.
lived in reality.
And congratulations.
He and others have given me airtime to talk about the absolute nonsense that we hear about climate change. Climate has always changed in the past.
At least if you keep your memories, you can make that shit. It's not that hard.
No climate change was ever driven by carbon dioxide.
You know what this is? It's the greatest hits. All the Sky News talking points regurgitated by people with even less charisma than Sky News hosts. Now with even more dementia. This is also incredible that you would think that the great minds of the mining industry would be talking about...
This video was not supposed to be aired. This was a private video of the Christmas party of the mining lobby holding like a meeting with the far right, and it was leaked. This is an unlisted YouTube video.
The industry. They would be talking about what developments they could be making and how they could be innovating. And all they do is bitch and complain about regulation on them. All they ever do is bitch and complain that our friend Peter Dutton isn't in government. No, this can't happen. We can't even have one term where our preferred politician is in power.
It's the same fucking story everywhere. They all have the same narrative, the same beliefs, the same goals. They want to take your money and your happiness, and they want you to suffer.
Fair. We're the victims. We're the victims here. It's just them going, did you hear on Sky News the other day?
This is what MAGA sounds like behind the scenes too. MAGA's probably worse than this behind the scenes, but like, again, yeah, they're wearing "Make Mining Great Again" hats. They're wearing "Dig Baby Dig" on signs in their front of their shirts while looking like they're literally insane. Like the most, like that guy looked worse than I've ever seen Joe Biden look, ever in my life.
Great minds. This guy is supposed to be this engineer that completely redefined engineering in Australia, and he just got nothing to say about engineering. Nothing. Where is the innovation in these? Lazy dullards. Like, I can't count how many times they completely contradicted themselves, that they would be whining about something and then immediately whining about the exact opposite of it when they're sitting there saying, we give so much money to hospitals, why is the Labor Party making us pay tax? Look, now they're making us pay as much as hospitals. What the hell? You know? And then they come out sipping their Chardonnay.
They were literally complaining about rich people with private jets and yachts advocating for climate action, while they're rich people with private jets and yachts who want to destroy the world. It's a death cult. They think they'll escape to the moon or some shit, and the rest of us get to die on this rock. That's their long-term plan.
As they talk about climate change while we sit here sipping our Chardonnays. They're so dumb. There's not a single brain amongst them. And they all sit there saying very stupid things. I'll say this, the CEO of Santos, he seemed like he knew what he was doing. That was the only guy in it that really seemed like he was there with merit. And then everybody else, like just
by the way, like when he says knows what he was doing, does not mean he was a good guy. It means like that was the only one that seemed even remotely fucking competent. All of you are smarter than these people. They're going to be so bored without any trans or queer people to pick on. Oh, that's when they go after everyone else. You do realize there's a line here. It's one after the other, after the other, after the other. And it ends with nothing. It ends with all of us are dead. It's a death cult.
Look at this dullard's face. Lifetime Achievement Award in mining.
What the fuck is on his shirt? Like, what did they spill on him?
Look at the vacant stare in his face. Look at it. There's nothing going on up there.
In the past, we've had up to 1,000 times more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere than now. And what do we have?
Drunk.
We had ice ages. Carbon dioxide is plant food. It's not a pollutant.
Oh, shut up. It's just, this is the other thing. How many times do you think the people in that room have heard that exact speech? Just regurgitating these same church hymns. That's all that's happening here. Church hymns. Nothing. No innovation. There's no innovation.
It's called dogma, by the way. That's what the church hymns. It's dogma. They don't have thoughts. They just parrot out what they're taught because they have no thoughts, they have no creativity, which is why they're all dick riding Donald Trump. They just hear the thing, input, output, input, output, input, output. That's it. No thought. Brain empty.
Even in their argument. This is the same dumb 1,000 times debunked talking points they've been saying for 20, 30, 40 years. Back when that guy's hair probably still looked exactly the same. I bet he's looked like that for a long time.
And the more carbon dioxide we put in the air, the better it is. I'm off the girth. Heads of the girth.
The more carbon dioxide in the air is, the better it is. We need more carbon in the air. That's how you fix it. You get an ice age if you put enough carbon in the air, the earth cools. Yeah.
Not hug trees any longer. So we feed them with carbon.
Delusional motherfuckers. This guy probably believes this.
Dioxide.
Yeah.
It is the gas of life. It is not a pollutant. What we are doing in building these wind and solar monstrosities is not environmental. It's not for climate. We have opened up a new scam, and this scam.
I didn't know that she was a lesbian married to a South Asian lady supporting Palestine. The MAGA bros are crying after they saw her. Like, that's funny, but I mean, there's still. That's really fucking weird, actually. No, it's not. I forget sometimes because the American far right likes Israel because we're bought, but the German far right hates Israel because Nazis and the AfD are Nazis. This guy wants more carbon dioxide in the air, and he's saying that it is good for the world. It is the gas of life. One more time.
Times debunked talking points they've been saying for 20, 30, 40 years. Back when that guy's hair probably still looked exactly the same. I bet he's looked like that for a long time.
And the more carbon dioxide we put in the air, the better it is. I'm off the girth, heads of the girth, where he cannot hug trees any longer. So we feed them with carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
It is the gas of life. It is not a pollutant. What we are doing in building these wind and solar monstrosities is not environmental. It's not for climate. We have opened up a new scam, and this scam is costing us dearly and will continue to cost us dearly.
I want to take all of your money away.
So I thank the organisers for this award. I thank you.
It's really lame because
they believe this shit. Their brains have rotted.
Just it's the same speech that
he said that enough carbon dioxide in the air will create an ice age and cool the earth.
Monckton was saying, but at least Lord Monckton had a very funny accent. But this guy's just a bozo.
I suppose if you go to the point where, like, life can't exist anymore, sure, maybe, but...
I don't own a
No
comb.
one cares. No one cares about reality. Science, Astral Storm? What are you, a woke little liberal? Science? In this economy? In this world? Can you play the last minute again? I'm sorry. No, no worries.
I think it's really lame because it's just like...
They've opened up monstrosities is not environmental. The better it is.
Here we go.
I'm off the...
Sam, I bet you look like that for a long time.
And the more carbon dioxide we put in the air, the better it is. I'm off the girth and heads of the girth where he cannot hug trees any longer. So we feed them with carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
It is the gas of life. It is not a pollutant. What we are doing in building these wind and solar monstrosities is not environmental. It's not for climate. We have opened up a new scam, and this scam is costing us dearly and will continue to cost us dearly. So I thank the organisers.
Yeah, maybe Astral Storm. Exactly. Like, if we killed everything on Earth, maybe we could cool the Earth that way, but...
It's all old stuff that's been said 1,000 times. It's really lame because it's just like, it's the same speech that Lord Monckton was saying, but at least Lord Monckton had a very funny accent. But this guy's just a bozo. I don't own a comb.
Talk common sense.
Yeah, about time.
And what we have as a mining community is a huge fight in front of us. We have to be activists. We have to fight stupidity. Nice. And our greatest weapon is common sense and the economy. So National Mining and Related Industries Day is a very, very important day to do this. But it's only one of the 300...
It's pretty bad, but this is the exact same things that every other far right believes. Again, this is a private video. We weren't supposed to see this. This is how they talk behind the scenes in America, and England, and France, and Germany, and Russia, and Israel, and China. All of them do this. This is how it works. We live in oligarchy. Who are these poor miners in the room? None. Not a single one. In this room are politicians and wealthy people. The richest person in Australia is here. Elmo Hitler is here. Like, they're all here. Dickhead is here.
65 days of the year that we have to fight for our industry.
Penis face.
And great Australians like Mrs. Reinhardt, who's the greatest woman this country's ever produced.
Ever? Again, she was just fell out of...
If I tell you who I meant by that, I might get sued for defamation, sir.
The right vagina. That was all she really did. That's her accomplishments in life.
You.
There's not one single woman that's better. Come on, what about Susie O'Neill?
I'll give you a hint.
Someone
Red hair.
Has actually done something of merit.
Great Australians are fighting. You have to join in. So thank you.
That was truly enlightening. I was not expecting it to be anywhere near as revealing as that. I've got to thank the person that leaked this to us.
Yeah, thank you for whoever leaked that. Jesus Christ. But again, all of them think that all of them believe this stuff. All of them hate you. They hate you. What else can I say? And by the way, all right, what we're gonna do...